There he is, the goal kicker. First of the afternoon for the Double Blues. Michael Bratton back in the centre. Good contest in the ruck. They nullify each other. Centre break important. Bowen did pretty well. Out to Bratton, who kicked that goal a second ago. Just keeps it in front of him. That's good play. He's on a roll, Bratton. That's a good kick. McLeay will mark. Well, Bratton's kicked one, and he set one up here if James McLeay can do the business from around 30.
You'd like to think he'd get that. It's a bit of a strong breeze, as we've spoken about, but still he's dead in front, head over it, gives it a bit of punch. He should get the money with a bit of luck.
He'll learn a bit from that kick that he had earlier that didn't make the distance from around 48. I think if he kicks through this, he'll make the distance easy. Just a question of the accuracy. James McLeay. Good contact. That faded away. I think he might have just snuck it in. Double Blues get a couple of goals in 2 minutes. They really needed that because South was having the majority of the play, Nick.
Most certainly. I think that is very important for the confidence. They haven't won a game yet this year. McLeay is actually providing a good target up forward. He's contested a couple of marks, set up a couple of goals, and then kicked the goal himself there. So he's looking dangerous, whereas you normally look at Chambers as being the main target. McLeay sort of slotted in and done some great work there at this stage.
Just a point the difference. Midway through opening term here at Noarlunga. And umpire will recall the bounce.
Neil, some big things expected of James McLeay this year from Brenton Phillips. He's a deputy vice-captain. First game this year, he's had a hamstring problem with the left leg. Obviously not the right one he just slotted that goal with.
Thompson looked to have thrown it. Colreevy, the recipient. Thompson's hurt himself behind play. Perhaps an arm, perhaps his right thumb went back then. Still, maybe it's his left. Now looking at him, just off to the left, and there he's got an opportunity to punch the ball. Goes South's way. Hanby over the ball, wanted to give it up. Colreevy with a bit of room to move, got the kick away. McLeay again the target, got it to the front. Clark roved at best for South Adelaide. Far side of the ground, he's got a player with the hand up. And that'll be Kruger, who goes in short to McGlone. McGlone with room to move. Bratton chasing hard. Down to half forward he goes. Love takes his time. And here's South Adelaide's problem. Warren comes on the lead. He ignores that. Goes for Cupido and Ellis. Ball punched down by Thurstons. Kenner. Good. Heard the call out the back from McGlone, who was grabbed. Kenner comes in again. Beveridge put his body in for Sturt. We'll get a ball up.
Strong body, Chiggy, on Beveridge there. Just knocked Kenner away. A bit quick. Very strong.
And that's what they need to do. They need to be just hitting the body and just creating contest, putting the pressure on the opposition.
Hanby, put some pressure on Cupido. Good centering kick. Warren's there, knocked away by Code. The crumbs. This is where South need to make full advantage. They've got a couple of tolls up there and they need to crumb. They can't mark it. In goes Davey with a stalemate. 15 minutes gone. First term, just to point the difference. South Adelaide with a couple of early goals and Sturt the counter-attack. A lot of players around the football. Thompson. You heard the umpire say good tackle. Curtis on his left has had hamstring problems too. Here's Ellis. Lovely attacking handball over the top. McGlone got it to Archard. Archard goes to the square, but Bowen's there. Good block by Code. It was legal, said the umpire. The kick finds O'Keefe. Sandringham Premiership player in 04 and 05. Sean O'Keefe. Socks down. The way he plays his football. The target somehow was Adam Clun, and the pack descended on the little man. Out of bounds. Need to be about 6'5" to be able to take that. Coming up at quarter time, Norwood and Port highlights from last night. Bit of rain about at the parade, but a good crowd. Boundary throw in. Parry, shark by Sheedy, who's excellent. Free kick will go to the Double Blues. Over the top, Squire ends up with it. He'll look for a target. He normally hits them. Here comes Chambers and McLeay. Can't take the mark. He's getting a fair old work over at the moment. McLeay ridden into the ground. No free kick. Thulis got it back to Bennett. Bennett going nowhere in a hurry. Uses Carlisle. And Carlisle kicks and finds Archard on the outer side, and they can run.
And Archer does so. And now he's run past the leads and he's forced a hand pass. Gets the 1-2. And then on to Carlisle. Good running for, or rather, Haitley. Good running from the big man. Haitley goes for Hanby. And Hanby marks forward pocket. Tough kick, so you'll think he'll be looking to chip into the middle somewhere. Certainly having a look.
Looks like he's beefed up a bit this year, Hanby. He's normally a bit finer than that, I would have thought. So whether he's been carrying an injury or something, hasn't been able to do quite as much running. But he normally does look inside.
Beefed up in a good way. Michael Hanby. Came from Glenelg after being on the Crows list. Had terrible hamstring problems, but no problems kicking that goal. Well, I would have bet a lot of money that he was prepared to hand that off if there was somebody available.
He normally does look inside. That kick with the wind heading down that end, to the northern end there, he just needed to put it up in front of the goals, and that will help push it in. So it was an excellent finish, but probably if he just, as he said, used the wind there beautifully, set it up in front and let the wind do the work and push it through. Smart football.
6 possessions already for Michael Hanby.
Well, he averages 27 a game this year, Michael Hanby, so he's getting a lot of the football. I reckon he'll do some work in that midfield this year. Davey has been pretty good for him the first few games as well. Kicks and a long lead, Davey, cruel bounce, opportunity for O'Keefe, who uses Code. Code kicks to the wing, and Squire just lost sight of the football for a moment, and Davey just funneled it out, and a boundary throw in. A right smile from Damien Squire. Just totally lost that. Spun around, but that's the way it goes. Excellent player, Damien Squire. Good to see him out on the park for Sturt this year. Thoughts that he may retire at the end of last season. They need him with this young side they're developing under Brenton Phillips. Taken by Clark of South Adelaide. Thulis. Now what target is it going to be? He's got a couple. He just kicks and looks for Ellis. They've got a bit of space. Dale Ellis, the former Eagle. Looks for a mark for Warren, who's got the 6. He had his name written on that. Ben Warren, and those long arms just reached up, and just think the Sturt defenders got caught a bit flat-footed there by the kick.
Well, he had 2 or 3 around him, but it was that quick movement in, and Warren was in the better position. The Sturt players were running back, couldn't see the ball coming over their shoulder. Warren knew exactly where it was, used his body well, and he's a strong, very good mark and a very good kick at goal.
And he's got his first goal from point-blank range. And this is the Dale Ellis kick, which really did set him up for the goal and really pinpointed him, and just Warren was the only one in the contest.
Yep, as you see there, the others pushing back, couldn't see the footy there, and quite an easy mark in the end.
60 goals last season for Ben Warren. He's on course again this season. It's his first of the afternoon. Parry prepares for the ruck. It favours him. It could be recalled. It will be. Bounce wasn't perfect. Umpire now will throw it up, no doubt. As you were, everybody outside the square. And only the 4 players from each side inside the square. Thompson likes the hand pass. Gave that one off and really didn't help his side. Ball in close, and we'll get another ball up.
And another good contest that we're going to keep an eye on is in Clark and Squire, 2 quality players. Clark's had a bit of it early, maybe just in front, but Squire was certainly a dangerous player.
Colreevy with the punches. Clark whack, met hard by Jajura. Ball kicked down towards South Adelaide's half-forward line. Williams is across there with Curtis. The younger man, Williams, can't keep it in.
Nick, would you expect them to play wide of each other all day?
Well, that's what's been happening at the moment. Yep. Yeah, and I think Squire's got to be a bit wary of that, because Clark has picked up a couple, especially off the boundary throw-ins, and got it in quick where he's south of kick goal. So if I was Damien, I'd keep an eye on that. Weatherall
puts his head down, and the 2002 McGarry medalist, joint with Jay Sheedy, gives up the ball. Squire spent some time at half-forward against Clark, but he's also had a run on the ball, and I think he was opposed there to Davey, so he's getting experience of what it's like to chase around some pretty quick players. Here's Williams, and Squire's over him, and wait on the umpire. He's going to call holding the ball. So Squire will take the free kick. more experience than anybody else playing SANFL football at the present time, Damien Squire.
He's in good nick too, isn't he?
Yep.
Look at him.
253rd game this afternoon for Squire. Here's Thurston's still on centre wing. He's got to drop it in short and even wider. Whiteman is over the top, goes for Squire opposed to Clark. Clark did well and knew the boundary was close and directed his punch that way.
Come on, Sturt, get down!
Robbie Pyman, his work cut out this afternoon. So it's going to be thrown in just where the 50-metre arc meets the boundary line. Sturt's into the ground. They'd like to pinch one here. Late in the quarter, 22 minutes. We're into time on. Parry takes it out of the ruck. Straight away, he gives it to Clark. Oh, he just got his arm free in Thompson's tackle. Ball still in the forward line. Comes to Weatherall. Tries to grubber home the goal. Nick Chidwin, let's get your thoughts on that. I mean, he had an opportunity to kick it and decided to grubber it.
Well, Jimmy, his first game back, he's probably not quite in his peak form at the moment, but he's normally dangerous. He doesn't normally miss those sort of ones. Would have been better off just trying to push it through.
It's this modern phenomenon where you've got to try and grab it. We saw Dale Ellis try and do the same thing at the other end and kicked it off the instep. Ellis couldn't take the mark. Pack of players around the football. Sturt, well, they were challenged early and they responded with a couple of goals. There's Stix Phillips. They need one right now as we're getting close to quarter time. Bowen's been all right in the ruck for them. There's Weatherall working hard as usual. Archer got it to McGlone, who keeps racking up the positions. Wicks with a good thump behind. Curtis fell forward. Now Bowen's got a problem. Got out of it. Sheedy. Wicks over the top. Can the Double Blues build and run? O'Keefe got it away to Whiteman. This is where they've broken down. They'll normally go for McClay or Chambers. That's a high kick. Jajora just went too early and infringed. Tell you what, if he had taken that mark, it'd have been a superb one.
I think, yeah, there with the hands in the back or on the shoulders there, just to give him that lift.
Hakely's kick pinpoints Bennett at half back. They like to work that ball across the outer side to the Panthers. Parry, next kick important. It goes to the long lead of Warren, who's taken a mark out there already this quarter. Code, thought he might have thrown that, but he finds the boundary line. Smart play by Michael Code. Boundary throw in, 24.5 gone. 26 plays 14. Let's have a look at this.
Yeah, that wasn't deliberate, was it?
It wasn't a throw either. Well, ball back in. Hanby diving in. He's dived on by Whiteman. Still ball in dispute. Hanby being pinned by Whiteman. You see there, he wasn't getting up from under that arm in a hurry. And a free kick picked out.
It's a tough one, that. I better be quiet because I've said enough about it.
And now the ball wasn't handed over quick enough, so it's 25.
And that could really hurt them if they can get a late goal here, South. That will certainly hurt Sturt. They've done it pretty well, Sturt, this quarter, I think, and this will really hurt them.
Well, here's a chance for Nagel. No, it's not Nagel. Right, Kruger. Made that mistake before. Kruger's kicked it. Regardless of who it is, the goal to South Adelaide.
And it's an interesting one. It'll be good to see the free kick again. Like, it was probably a bit of a suspect free, and then you throw in a 25 or 15, whatever it was after, and they get a goal. Now South go to a 3-goal lead after Sturt have worked so hard through the quarter. So disappointing from Sturt's point of view.
Jake Bowen off the ground. He came back in with DeLuca going to the power. Into the ruck for Sturt is a young man, Kurtz. He is a sassy rower, and the last rower that played for Sturt, of course, Barnaby French.
Up goes Sassy. Down comes Kenner. Clark back to Kenner. 26 minutes gone. South go forward. Code has got some work to do and gets a cruel bounce. This just seems to be going that way. And Warren's been paid a free kick. Advantage rule goes to Love. Love's kick is good to Ellis, but he can't hold it. In goes Curtis, working hard. Wicks uses Beveridge. Beveridge cool and calm. Code's made some space out of side. Man down on the wing is Hurley. Takes it, thought about going on with it. Double Blues, need a goal, need it now. Poor kick, Parry. And look out, Craig. Just keep them tucked in, son. Hakely kicks it high. Love can't take the mark. Over the back, O'Keefe somehow got it to Weatherall. It was a bit quick for him. Thought he copped one high. Was he holding the ball? Crowd wanted it. Nagel swarms. Umpire crosses the arms. We'll have a ball up. Let's have a look at this for a tackle.
Right here, trying up.
Nowhere to go there, Andrew Whiteman.
At the ball. Well done.
Kurtz wanting to really get into the action. Michael Hanby at the bottom of that pack. The late goals. Go, Mark.
Michael, just on Angus Kurtz, Sassy rower. Sassy, of course, South Australian Sports Institute, if anyone was wondering.
Good stuff. Now I'll know. Kenner's ducked off out the back door, but it's got to come back. It's like a kid pinching a football there, Nick Chigwood, wasn't he?
He didn't want to give it back, that's for sure.
He's been behind the goals as a young kid. He's pinched the ball. Up goes Warren and takes it at centre-half forward. And we'll have a look from 50, but should be aided by the breeze. And Ben Warren's one of the most accurate kicks in this competition. We've seen that.
Yeah, you'd back him in with the wind behind him. You'd back him in from here. Again, presented himself brilliantly, and they put it out in that in the hot zone out in front of goals, just on the 50.
Warren has hit the post. That's when you give him a rap for being accurate. They let you down every time.
Yeah, no, you'd be disappointed with that. It's a good strong leg. Looked good off the boot, but Breeze just pushing it into the post.
Now it is late in the quarter. Sturt get it down towards half forward. Bennett did well, punched it away. Archer's back inside looking for Clark. Clark fumbled under pressure, gave it up to Bennett. Bennett with time. Now it's Nagel, he's a left footer. Nagel into half forward. Nicely to Williams. Davies quick. Lines up the goals and just couldn't finish the job.
South sort of wasting a few opportunities here, which might come back to haunt them because they could have gone in, you know, 4 or 5 up.
20 points the difference. Thurston's finds Clum, wearing Brodie Atkinson's old number, and Atkinson back at the club this year. I think he went to Mount Gambier. I think he's a reserves coach and helping Brenton Phillips. Clun, double blues need one. And Parry with body work on Kurtz. He'll get you every time, Parry. Very solid customer. Dale Ellis has got a problem with his kicking at the moment. He's just getting into that instep far too often. Yeah, bounds on the ball. And there's a poor kick by Wicks, marked by McGlone. An opportunity coming up for South. Williams wants to go in short and finds his fellow little man in Kenner. Kenner, quick kick, finds Cubido. Loose checking. Michael Code just wants to give him a nudge. But Damien Cubido, opportunity to make it 26 points.
Beveridge has been on him and done a pretty good job most of the quarter. He was probably 30 metres away from him there. I think he thought Sturt had the footy and Wicks' turnover. Yep. That's what kills you.
You don't need that when you're going against a bit of a breeze. But a lovely shot of Damien Cubido lining them up and splitting the middle. Or has he not? He's hooked. Mad hook on that ball. It's Cubido. You thought he'd just eat those for breakfast from there.
Yeah, no, that's disappointing from Cupido. Again, as we're saying, South have had a lot of the footy and had a lot of shots at goals, but not making the most of their opportunities at the moment.
21 points the margin. While we're at it, I wonder if South Adelaide's done that deliberately. There's no bag of balls down there, which I thought was supposed to be standard now. So Sturt bring it in long. Comes back to Clark from Parry, and Clark loads up. And they'll get another opportunity to bring the ball in.
A strong grab there by Parry. Again, he hasn't been really dominant. I think Sturt Ruckman have done pretty well teaming up against him, but good grab before.
31 points the difference. Thurston's from half-back. Just working his way into the game, Toby Thurston's. Siren, it's quarter time. A lively first quarter of football. South frittered away many opportunities to have a much bigger lead than they've got at the moment. But at quarter time, the Panthers lead 5-6-36. The double blues Sturt 2-2-14.
Yeah, no, Sturt backed themselves in that quarter. They didn't drop someone behind the play to counteract that wind there. Backed themselves in, and it did work for the majority of the quarter. But late in the quarter, South started peppering the goals, and as you can see, they certainly got a fair lead now with that win. You'd think that's probably fair.
22 points, the margin through the stats, and they reveal, look at those inside 50s, 18 plays 8. Again, they've kicked with the breeze.
They have kicked with the breeze and probably wasted it, but it's easy to say from up here. Centre breaks are pretty easy. It's interesting to see the kicks, handballs. Pretty even match, really, in a lot of sense. It's just that the inside 50s is what's where South have dominated.
As we said, round 5 got underway last night at the parade, and at times it was a little bit rainy, at times the football was pretty scrappy, but Port playing Norwood, the traditional rivals, and the count before last night was 154, plays 113 across the long, long history of these two clubs. Port Adelaide, they had all the answers last night.
Well, they're in great form, and they're certainly the team to beat this year with North Adelaide, I would say. And it's a fantastic crowd. You can see they're in a great SANFL football, seeing so many people there. Seeing people like Gavin Wanganeen in the number 7 there for Port Adelaide. He's an absolute champion. You put Kingsley in there as well. You've got Waterhouse in there. They've got a fairly good team running around on the park at the moment. 6 goals in the opening quarter really set the standard for the night. And you mentioned that crowd, more than 7,000 last night at the Norwood Oval, and they braved this rain when it came through. And that led to things being a little bit slippery from time to time. And speaking of slippery, Mark Clayton, in his first year as captain, very good for them. Yeah, he's been in great form and fantastic last night. Jeremy Clayton, again, carrying on his great form from last season. He's been probably best player for Port nearly every game, I think, so he's having another great year as well. Well, we know Norwood are trying to climb the ladder, having missed the finals last season, but a 4-0 start for Port Adelaide this season. They're showing great signs under Tim Ginniver in his first year as coach. They certainly are. They've got a great list, though, a great team, as I mentioned. They've got plenty of depth there, and they've got some good young kids coming through as well. So, Timmy, he takes the old Jack Carl philosophies, I'd imagine, which has been successful down at Alberton for many years. So, I'm expecting they'll have a great year. Well, they had struggled against the Redlegs, though, more recently. They'd only won 1 of their previous 6 matches against the dreaded enemy from the parade. But last night they put them down rather easily in the day, and even when Norwood was going bad, they were managing to Port. So it's a good sign of how far forward the Magpies have come. Absolutely, and I don't think you can write Norwood off. They're a good team, and just up against a class opposition last night. No doubt about that. Final score there with Port 18-11, 119, and Norwood 10-14, 74. Pretty true reflection of the match, I would have thought, that in the end. We're going to have a look at South Adelaide, and Robbie Pyman speaking to his players, and I imagine he'd be reasonably happy with that start this afternoon. Yeah, I think he would be. I think he'd be a bit frustrated, though. They have wasted their opportunities. They have moved the ball quickly into the forward line, though, which has been impressive and given Warren a lot of opportunities. Cupido hasn't done a lot at this stage. Beveridge has done a pretty good job on him, I would say, but he's just a slippery customer. You just can't give him an inch or else he'll certainly hurt you. So, whilst they've had a lot of the footy, I think he'd be a bit frustrated. Yeah, Pyman fairly animated there, but we've been told that we can't actually put our microphone in there, which probably means he's very animated. Well, yes, that's a good way to put it. But certainly, they've had the better of the opening term. They have kicked with the breeze, and he's set in place a different game plan this season, which involves a lot of run and a lot of handball, and that's what we saw in the opening quarter. And listening to that huddle, and perhaps can give us an explanation of exactly what was going on, Mark Soderstrom.
Well, nothing bad at all. Robert was pretty relaxed, and he commended his players on their work rate in that particular term. The one thing he was critical on was just getting the players, once they have possession of the ball, it's a big ground, he wanted them to use the ground, so you don't have to worry about getting the ball on so quickly. He's actually said soak up the grass, use it, don't be afraid to have a bounce and run, and then use the ball carefully. Of course, he was disappointed with them being a little bit wasteful of goal, but he said the opportunities are there, you've presented yourself to get the ball. So all in all, he seems pretty happy at this point in time.
And so does, in terms of the breeze and that, I mean, now you're out there in the middle of the ground, I mean, how much of an effect will it have?
Look, it is reasonably significant. The tip we had before the game was from the reserves game. It was about a 4-goal breeze, certainly 2 or 3 goals, no doubt. It has died a little bit since earlier in the day, but considering the breeze, South Adelaide are about where they should be at quarter time.
Thanks for that, Sodas. Quick look at our tipping for the week. Paul Victory has claimed a victory, and he wins A double pass to an SANFL game. abc.net.au/SAFooty. Get your tips in. There is a prize every week. Tony Munn leads the way overall, along with a couple of other players there. And that third one down, Matetic.
I'll leave that one with
check
you.
that during the week, perhaps. Let's see. But yeah, still early days. There's no doubt about that. You've got Clay Sampson with you now.
Certainly have. Skipper, now tell us about this hamstring. How far away?
No, it's more of a precautionary thing. Soda's a minor strain, haven't had him before, and obviously 30 now, so you just got to be very mindful of it. So hopefully just this one.
No worries. Well, we hope we see you back next week. Now, good start too. Plenty of opportunities presented.
Yeah, I think we probably wasted a few opportunities there. Could be a few more goals up, but hopefully we can keep the run going this quarter and get a few more on the board.
And Robert Pyman, pretty content with the way things are going?
Yeah, he's reasonably happy. Obviously, wish we could have got a few more goals on the board then, but yeah, he's happy with the start.
Thanks, Sambo. Let's hope we're back next week.
Yes, so let's go.
And there's Robbie Pyman striding off the ground. I tell you what, Clay Sampson could be a coach, just very understated.
Didn't give him much weight, did he? But he's certainly someone they'd love to have in his team, and had shocking injuries throughout his career, so it'd be great to see him back there.
And always the theory with the Breeze is don't make a judgment until you get to half-time when both clubs have had a go.
Well, this is a critical quarter for Sturt, there's no doubt about that, so we'll see how they go with the Breeze.
Here's Michael Maney.
24 more possessions in that quarter to the Double Blues, to South Adelaide, I should say. So they'll look to even that score. 31 points the difference. Nick Chigwoodden scans the oval for any changes that Brenton Phillips and Robert Pyman may have made. Squire, important through that midfield. Good kick. Cole Reevey couldn't take it. Went one-handed, but got it away to Squire. Now, Squire's the best user in the competition, and Chambers hasn't been able to get a sniff. Nagel, he's got a problem, and then uses Bennett. Free kick off the ball. The advantage rule is paid. Haitley, hugging the boundary. Bennett, just a kick in hope, really. Two midgets, Archard and Cole Reevey. Well done by Sheedy, got it to Curtis. No one can get a clean possession. Plenty of pressure on early in the second term. Davey. Curtis uses Wicks. Wicks thought about Thompson. Thompson through traffic. Tries to do a bit much occasionally, but he's okay this time and finds Macleay right on 50.
And both coaches must have been reasonably happy. Most of the matchups seem to be stayed pretty much the same at this stage. So all the key ones anyway.
Nick Chigwoodden, champion Glenelg Rover. So he tells me. James Macleay had a bit of a problem with his kicking, but kicked a lovely goal in that first term as he got the distance. I think the mark's been paid to Bennett right on the line. Good effort by Macleay. Didn't quite get it, only a few centimetres in it. And the former Sydney Swan and the boy from Tasmania. We've got to get that in. Jared Bennett right on the teeth of goal finds McGlone at half-back.
McGlone taking his time. He'll get called to play on, and eventually he is called. Kenner shows his pace. He's a left footer, so he can run on. Decides to do that. Drops it into half forward. Cupido slow off the mark. Doesn't get there. Curtis knocks it down. Now Thurston's at the back. Under pressure did well. They drop it into Bowen. He's got runners outside him. Code drops it into half forward. Not the greatest of kicks off the foot. Punched behind by O'Keefe. He follows up nicely. Got the hand pass out. Still the ball, no clean possession. Archard went wide for Haitley. South Adelaide come away. Haitley gets it to centre wing and it'll go out of bounds.
Yeah, a little bit of scrappy play through there, which, you know, might come into the game today if the weather comes in as it's meant to. But I thought Kenner's been pretty dangerous. He's getting a lot of footy at the moment, and he's one player that's certainly stepping up for South.
10 possessions for Stephen Kenner, 6 kicks, 4 handballs.
Have the ball.
Thompson slipped out a great hand pass to Sheedy, used Weatherald and then Curtis. Now to Sheedy. He's got a bit of space finally to get a kick, and dropping back, Haitley was brave. Ball to ground, and he'll be the recipient of a hand pass. And then perhaps the worst kick we've seen all day, although it's got a few contenders this afternoon. Wicks drops it in short, nicely done, and Cole Reevey takes the mark for Sturt. And that turnover from Haitley, gee, be embarrassed by that.
That wasn't great. He's been pretty good. He provides good run from there. He's a big lad. Back beautifully before. That was a shocker, though, and going to give Sturt a chance to post their first goal for the quarter.
A couple of worms ducking for cover there, Chiggy.
That looked like one of my kicks. Went a bit further, though.
And Colreevy, he's a pretty good kick. Or, no, that'll put the mocker on him, but he's fourth in the best in Ferris last season in his first season for Sturt, a former rookie with the Fremantle Football Club, and he drops it in for a goal.
It's just a start they needed. Colreevy, he is a very good player, I think, and reliable legs, got good skills, so that was a good finish for them. But that Haley will be very disappointed with that effort. Does all the hard work, and then you turn it around with just a skill error like that. Wicks, smart there. Could have had a blast away goals himself. Saw good vision, saw someone, Colreevy, inside, just gave the chip and then made a 100% effort of making the goal.
That's one thing from the Sturt Football Club you won't find. They will share it around. They're a wonderful team. They shared it with Clark this time. Archer. They go forward. Kenner on the end of it. Picks out Davey with an absolutely magnificent pinpoint pass. Stephen Kenner, run, carry the football, but you've got to be able to find a target. And Davey just about would have a bruise on his chest. Have a look at this.
Yeah, Kenner, he's a class act. There's no doubt about that. One thing I think Sturt have got to be very wary of, Clark is coming off the back of the centre square there, and whether it's Squire or whoever is resting there comes off of the wing. So leaving Clark some space.
Davies' kick. Looks good off the boot. It's a goal. Set up by Stephen Kenner. With some wonderful running football and a turnover in the middle by Sturt, which was a bit unfortunate, but that's football in the modern day.
It is, and you've got Clark hitting in hard off of that half-back flank, as we said. Kenner, that's beautiful skills. And then it's just going to be quite an easy kick in the end there to be finished off for a goal. But Davey, he's a class act in front of goals. He doesn't miss too many, and he will hurt you with every opportunity he gets.
Back in the middle, yes, Squire pushing in off the wing, and his opponent, his direct opponent, Clark, pushing off the half-back flank coming into the square. This time, it's Squire getting possession, drives it long. Oh, one hand goes up from Kurtz, brings it to ground. Chambers, errant hand pass, had to get rid of it though. Kruger took his time. Davey on wing. He takes the chest mark. Nobody inside. He'll have to go down the line. Call the play on. Just chips it over the top, and Carlisle back to Davey. There's a task, shows his pace. Then whoops, he knew there was somebody there, gave it up. Still in dispute. Off the ball, wait on it. Umpires picked out a free kick. Colreevy, the recipient. Ellis, apparently, in the back. Let's have another look. Well,
didn't seem like that.
Colreevy was smart. He turned his back, and therefore he got it in the back. So he looks up now, waiting for a lead. Kurtz gives him one. So Kurtz is at centre-half forward at this stage on Bennett. That's an interesting matchup. At the back, Squire made out he was going for the ball, got Clark away from it. Williams roves it. Hately this time, no mistake, but only just got it to Kenner. That's 25 against Chambers. Yes. Well, I don't know about that. I thought he was trying to pull up because he realised at the last minute he wasn't going to get there. Maybe not. At least it's only 25. Kenner drops it out wide. Williams to Parry, centre wing. Ruckman taking the mark ahead of Sheedy, and doesn't that tell a story? A follower chasing after the Ruckman.
Craig Parry, 7 marks, 10 possessions already.
McGlone, thanks for that, Moggies. 7 marks for the big guy. Love started in the forward pocket. 60 from goal, drives long, looking for Warren, out position. Ball knocked away by Code, well done. Thurston's underground hand pass. Beveridge over the top, just chips it up, dangerous. Poor disposal, McGlone comes in and takes it. Davey is in short if he wants him. That's where he goes. And wait on it, behind play. Sturt free kick, and you heard the umpire say there was an infringement back behind play. So the free kick will go to Daniel Wicks. And now over to Weatherald, and Sturt get a chance to break away. That was fortuitous.
O'Keefe on the outer side. I think Chambers might be a bit frustrated. I think that could be causing him some problems. He hasn't had much of a sniff. Bratton, Wicks. Oh, I think you should have given up, Daniel. He got caught. Couldn't get around. Ellis. His kick is all right. Finds Williams. South are playing okay. He's a man in the pocket. McGlone, who loves to run forward. Getting in the gap was Weatherall. Provided a good contest. Good play by McGlone to knock it forward. Archer couldn't get it. Solid work by Weatherall. Here's an opportunity for Thurstons. Uses Sheedy. Now Sheedy, this kick important. It's all right. He spotted Bowen, who uses Sheedy, who keeps running. Beveridge runs to the wing, and that's a lovely kick by Sheedy to find Beveridge. What has he got in front? Not too much. He goes for the big man in Kurtz. It might fall okay to him. Clark couldn't get it. Foxed out the back. Beveridge couldn't take it. Well done, Squire. Bratton, opportunity for the double blues. Long kick. Chambers gets out on the lead. And for once, gets a little bit of meterage on Carlisle. And Chambers will line up from right on the paint of 50.
Yeah, did that well. Again, a very strong leader, Chambers. Carlisle's done a pretty good job on him as far, but out in front in the hot spot again. Bang. Not much you can do there for Carlisle in that situation.
Brant Chambers, leading goal kicker for the Double Blues. Booted 4 last week. Before this match, 11-5 for the season. Lays back on the kick and has just pushed it to the right. So Sturt need to make every post a winner. Kicking with this breeze, it's going to left of screen.
Yes, they certainly do. They need to pull that scoreboard back. As we saw, it can't be that easy kicking that end. South had exactly the same problem.
21 points the margin. Parry again, mark number 8 for him. Looks in field, decides to go down the line. Handby making his way to the ball. Ellis gets there first to Handby. Wanted to give it out, and in the end he's trapped. Gives a hand pass back to Ellis. Ellis looks for Warren. Position for Warren. Well done. Gee, that was a good kick for Ben Warren. And then he lets it down with a bad kick of his own. Archered, pressured. Weeks was the man doing the pressuring. Ball comes back to Williams, drops it in short to Warren. Umpire said that was 15. And so Michael Code will be pulled back on the mark.
Neil, just on that breeze, it seems to have died down even more since the start of this term. You can see the windsock over there is a little more limp than it was at quarter time.
Taking a battering by the looks over the years from the wind. Warren goes around, wait on the umpire. Minor score just to the left of the post.
Certainly hasn't done his record any good today, Warren. He's kicked 4 points today, is it? And
1-3.
1-3.
Bit off target. Kick by Code, looking for O'Keefe. Opportunity here for the Panthers. Davey, just handball over the top. Kenner in a bit of trouble. Back to Warren, who found some space and spears the kick to Love. And all of his teammates in unison said, have a shot. Go back, have a set shot. And he will.
And why wouldn't you? He's 25 out, dead in front. So certainly should be going back to have a shot from there. Davey's starting to cause a little bit of a problem up forward there. Just being a little bit of a live wire.
This kick to take it out to 28 points. Awkward looking kick by Love, but it's got the distance and it's got the accuracy. So 28 points the difference in our match of the round on ABC television. That goal kicked by Rodney Love, who's a handy player for the Panthers.
Absolutely, and they're just working pretty hard, the Panthers, at the moment, just trying to keep it in their forward line and putting Sturt under all types of pressure and finishing off with the goals, which will come back to really hurt Sturt. They've got to make the most of this second quarter with that slight breeze that's so to say.
Well, I'm with you, Michael. That looked very awkward from Rodney Love, but nevertheless effective. It's the old argument. What counts is what happens with the end result. Kruger had the ball knocked away. Colreevy, great gather on the ground. Can go to Clun. Left foot just not there. On the ground. Comes out towards Colreevy again. Drops it in. Bowen. Thompson flanking him. Bowen turns around, takes the big circle on the left foot. And coming on the lead was Chambers. And the big guy did well then because he turned to his right foot and then kicked left. Robbie Pyman. Eyes darting everywhere. Just having a look. And this for an answering goal for Sturt, 28 points down at the moment. But kicking with the aid of no more than a Zephyr at the moment. Chambers taking his time. And nice finish from Bright Chambers. Double Blues keeping the hunt. 22 points down.
Very much needed goal there by Sturt, but Chambers again providing a great target. Quick movement, and here's what you were talking about. You know, there, Bowen, yep, turned on his right, then kicked it on his left. Good skills for a big man. Parry and him are playing a long way apart, but you know, certainly helped there. Parry's probably had the better of the deal so far today, though.
That breeze, Mark Soderstrom down there, just seems to have died off a little bit for this term.
Certainly has, Michael. There's no doubt about that at all. You can see with South Adelaide making the distance from around 40 with a couple of their kicks.
Double Blues in attack again. O'Keefe uses Wicks. Wicks, awkward ball drop, and that ball just off the side of the boot. Mopped up by Squire. Intelligent play, got it to Sheedy. Sheedy goes to the pocket. And McLeay couldn't take it. Good work by Haitley. There's Brenton Phillips thinking. Why wouldn't he have squared it up? They're going wide.
I think he'd be saying, why did O'Keefe come back? And that was because he didn't have a right foot. He's a left footer, I think. And it was pretty obvious in that move.
Didn't go much on the Wicks kick either. Squire, Colreevy, forced to kick hurriedly. It might work out okay. Good defence by Thulis. Hanby roved it to Nagel. Nagel's got Ellis in a bit of space. Good stretch, Dale Ellis. What's he got in front of him? A lot of players running forward. They've been behind the ball. Long kick by Ellis. Code Warren. Oh, had to sit Ben Warren. Normally finishes well. Hanby. Got a call from Clark. Clark's kick is over McGlone's head. Here's an opportunity for Cubido, who virtually hasn't had much of the football at all. Just dives over it. In goes Squire. No one can get it out of there. A ball up. He looks a little bit out of sorts today, Cubido.
He doesn't look like he's working hard enough. Whether he's playing pretty deep up forward there, whether he needs a bit of a run up in the midfield or something to try to push him forward, I don't know.
You talked about Hanby. Ball down now. Cupido couldn't get possession. He's chasing Thompson with a look away. Then Sheedy. Then on to Clun. And just out of bounds, half forward. There's half forward for South Adelaide. So Sturt's half back line, right half back. Kids enjoying the jumping castle in the back there. The ball thrown in. Bowen reaches over the top. Thompson, hand pass of sorts. Bowen wanted to push away the little man, Davey. Davey beat him well, stripped him of the ball, kicked it forward. Love couldn't take it. Warren could. He's got Ellis loose in the square. Question of the bounce, and it went away from him.
Oh, they're tricky ones. Running away from him, the ball, and going in for end. So it was always going to be hard to pick up. He was really disappointed he couldn't get hold of that one.
50 plays 27. 23 points the difference. Colreevy at half-back for the Double Blues. Furrowed brow. Have a look at that furrowed brow from Colreevy. A bit worried. Wicks. That's a better kick. Spots up Thurston's. Double Blues with plenty of work to do in this match. Sheedy made some space at half-back and he accelerates away. McLeay's a long way from goal. Couldn't get on the end of it. Thought he might have got a nudge. Kurtz. O'Keefe. Oh, that's loose. Sheedy. Oh, I think he might have dropped it. Ball kicked off the ground. Boundary line. I think Jade Sheedy might be a bit lucky there, Chiggy.
Yeah, absolutely. There's it's an interesting sort of game. Both teams are backing themselves in, like Sheedy against Kenner's backing themselves, Squire and Clark. They're sort of going at it, and it's probably reasonably even at this stage.
Brenton Phillips composed in the box. Parry the double-hander. In hard was Curtis.
Jade Sheedy's had 11 possessions in the 17 minutes of this quarter, 17 possessions for the game.
Yeah, and look, he's just not hurting them. He's doing a lot of work across half-back. He's not hurting them forward, is he? And that's just the way the game's going at the moment. But he's working extremely hard. O'Keefe and Williams. go to ground, another ball up. 18 minutes gone, and the Panthers by 23 points. They've had all the answers so far, a couple of goals each in this second term.
Parry had the better of it. Archer just couldn't get a clean hand pass away. O'Keefe, he got a clean kick away. Down to centre wing. Squire showing his class. Got away from Clark. Drops it down to half forward. Not his best kick, and well read by Bennett in any case. So Bennett takes it for South. They'll line up again through Haitley. Can go to Cupido. Having a rare foray up into the back line. Cupido shows his skills, drops it to Archett, so they switch play effectively. Now back through the middle, Archett, no, thought twice about it. Still on the lead came Ellis, and couldn't get to the ball. Well done by Thurston's, just got the fist in there. Wicks has pulled it in, he's gone, umpire. Oh no, Williams got a hand pass out, umpire said it was a throw. And so the free kick to Sheedy. And Sturt can't go down the line because there's nothing there for him. He's forced to go backwards across the goals. Curtis now can get it over the top to O'Keefe. Chooses to go longer. Looks for Thurston's, or rather Whiteman. Flanking him doing the roving was Bowen, who hands it off to the smaller man in Whiteman. Bounces down past centre wing. Whiteman's still got space to work with. The kick, he drops into centre half forward. It's inaccurate again. Macleay just sort of goes across and says, God damn it. Gave the ball up, Bennett to Cupido. He is a good kick and should find a player further down the ground, taking his time, eventually deciding, as both clubs are at the moment, to go very, very wide. Parry with the mark. He goes over the top and long, looking for Love, coming across O'Keefe. Love pulled it down, then pulled it in. Wait on the umpire on that one. No. Clark, round the corner, clever. Bounce didn't favour South Adelaide. And coming back well was Nagel. Got position off the Kenner, inside 50. Awkward bounce, well picked up by Thurston's. Hand pass wasn't up to the take. Sturt, though, did have numbers, able to take it away. Curtis saw dangerous, looking for Sheedy. Flanked by Kruger, got it away from him. Wicks. Kruger gave it up to Bratton. Still the ball in dispute. McGlone, clean possession at last. Ellis played on immediately and kicked a goal.
Well, Ellis has been pretty good today. He's found a fair bit of it. His kicking has let him down from time to time, but the big fella then wasn't going to go back and think about this one. He played on straight away. Smart little chip again. Ellis, as you can see there, just went back. And in some cases, when your kicking hasn't been great, that's the best thing to do. Just get it on the boot quick with a bit of punch, and that'll help his confidence.
Didn't want to think about it too much, Dale Ellis.
Michael Dale Ellis, straight off the ground after kicking that goal. That move was ready to be made before he kicked the goal. Onto the ground is Ilgerson, and for Sturt, O'Keefe off Eckerman into the centre.
Benny Eckerman has had a pretty tough time of it since being crunched in the AFL. It was last year. Hasn't regained the form that the Power and also Sturt would have liked. Cole Reevy, here's an opportunity for the Double Blues. Cole Reevy kicks it long, and it's been marked by Macleay. Right in the teeth of goal. Will he run around, screws it across his body, and kicks a lovely goal? Well, James Macleay has been the shining light up forward. Chambers has just started to get some ball, but I tell you what, James Macleay's worked pretty well.
But it makes it so much easier for him. Cole Reevy running the ball. It's a beautiful penetrating kick too. Puts it over the South player's head too, so lets Macleay have the best position to actually mark the footy. And smart footy there by Macleay. That's his second goal. He runs around, opens up the angle, and finishes off with a very good kick.
Again, badly needed by the Double Blues. Margin 23.
10 Cole Reevy, 10 possessions this quarter, 12 for the game.
For Cole Reevy, Mog.
That's right, Neil. Very busy this quarter, 6 and 4.
Very busy and unobtrusive at the same time. Sheedy too high on Kenner. That'll be a free kick. Sheedy just slow to let him up too. Just saw that. Don't know what he caught. Maybe an elbow on the side of the head there. It's down to half forward. Curtis from half back taking it for Sturt. Off to the two-time McGarry medalist in Squire, who let himself down again with the kick. Hasn't been the best this afternoon, has Squire. Cole Reevy has been in pretty good nick.
Yeah, I think Squire's certainly been carrying some injuries and still trying to find his best form as well.
Had a fair bit of the ball, 13 possessions.
So Parry goes at it. Kurtz with a good leap. Knocked it the second time. South Adelaide come away. Davies in space. He'll look inside. Come down the line towards Warren. Making good pace to the ball. Warren should have taken it. Now he's gone to ground, even worse. And in the end, fortunately, it went out of bounds. Benny Warren would be disappointed with his hands there.
It's interesting, in the last 10 or 15 minutes, Cupido certainly has been pushing up and getting a bit more of the footy. He's had a couple of touches through the midfield. His skills are so good, and if he can work hard and get some footy through there, it can be very damaging.
Neither ruckman getting a hand on the ball. Thompson gave it to Wicks. Wicks gave it back to Thurstons, who just wanted to drop it around the corner. Bowen had pushed forward from the ruck contest. Takes the ball now, drives down towards half forward. Didn't advantage his teammate there in Kurtz, who was bundled out of the way by the experienced Bennett. Bennett played with the Swans and also with the Cats in the AFL, showing the benefit of that bodywork experience in the AFL. Archard now drops it across to Clark. Running through the centre square. Clark takes a detour right, then comes wide. Don't know about that. Questionable decision. Haley almost made it come off. Now Hanby on the ground. Double Blues surround him, and we'll get another ball up. And half forward right for South Adelaide.
Neil, not a lot of action down here off the benches so far. Sturt making 6 changes. South just the 1. So 7 to this stage. Generally, we've had about 40 or 50 a game. So very quiet at the moment down here.
Doesn't want to take Parry off the ground at the moment. Here's Wicks. Looking for Weatherall. Ducks it back in. Jajura caught by Davey. No. Didn't hold on long enough. Jajura kicks it long. Chambers. He's hovering. He'll mark. Just inside the line. That quick transition play by Sturt. When they kick long and they move it quickly and they don't muck with the football, they'll get results. This could be a check side from one of the sharpshooters in the competition, Brant Chambers. Here it goes. Oh, lovely looking kick. He likes it. That's a top goal. Brant Chambers take a bow. He knew exactly what he was doing, had a routine nick, went back and delivered.
He did, and you've got to be confident with those kicks. He's a full forward, though, and he is a good kick, so why not go back and have a shot at it? He's in with range, and if you go back confidently and kick through the footy, you'll actually get those. He'd be practicing those at training. He'd know what to do there, so that's his second goal, and he's really started to have a bit of an impact in this quarter.
Now, right on cue, Craig Parry's come off the ground, just the 8th interchange for the game. Brett King into the ruck, and if you look at him closely, he's got a touch of Sam Philippou about his look.
Drop. Yeah. Drop.
Well, the touch wouldn't be shoulder strapping, knee strapping, thumb strapping.
Jawline.
I reckon just the head. He's got the Sammy Philippou dial.
No, I think you're right, but I remember Sam Philippou when he finished, gee, his body was battered. Here's Clark off halfback, showing his pace for South Adelaide. Kick wasn't up to the run. Bowen slid in, couldn't take it. Beveridge pulled down. Umpire surely will call holding the ball. He does. Cupido buried him once he had the chance, and Beveridge will have to give up the ball. Cupido can go into the centre where McGlone was briefly by himself. He's waiting for Warren, who now comes on the lead. This time, hands out in front are taken away, and it's play on. And Warren just lifted the leg into his opponent and Code. I don't know about that one. Bratton, he drops it in short. Beveridge, nice, gave the hand pass. Code dropped it, and he wouldn't be happy with his hands now. So Code will go back to fullback, and no doubt Ben Warren will let him know about it. And in fact, just off camera, he is letting him know about it. So ball thrown in. Cupido over the top. Davey will beat Curtis for pace. Davey, it's a question of accuracy. It's a goal. And a push in the back after the event didn't make any difference to Alwyn Davey or South Adelaide. And poor Michael Curtis, you've got to feel sorry for the veteran there, chasing down young Davey, who just showed a clean pair of heels. He had a yard and he took 5.
Yeah, you don't want to give him a yard. He's lightning quick, and that's his bread and butter. That's what he's there for. He's not going to get 30 touches too often, but if he can get his half a dozen around forward and kick the goals, he's very dangerous.
Be a good match race between the two Davies. Who's your back?
Alwyn.
Alwyn.
Yeah, go Alwyn.
Back in the centre. 23 points the difference. Couple of goals now to Owen Davey. Hanby. Can't get it out of there. In a good second term. Well, we got 1, 2, 3. We've got 8 goals kicked in this second term, 4 apiece. Out of there, taken by McGlone. Uses Williams, a late charge from South. Williams inboard, Archard, he's got Hanby, uses him. Now Michael Hanby, question of accuracy. He kicks it high, long, and to the square. Ball just holds up a bit, Love's there, and knocked through by Code. Good defensive work by the Double Blues.
And I think, as you're saying there, Michael, there's been a lot of goals scored. It just highlights again how free-flowing the game is, and not a lot of accountability in some areas.
Double Blues bring the ball in quick. Weatherall can drop it to Jura. And just a siren and a frustration evident there for Luke Jura. Hasn't seen much of the ball in the first half. And at half-time, South Adelaide 9-9-63, Sturt 6-3-39.
Yeah, well, it was an exciting quarter of football because there was plenty of goals kicked. Sturt probably didn't make an indent into the scoring as much as they would have liked. Certainly showed a little bit more through Chambers up forward. Macleay again was good. But again, Davey, I thought, started to look pretty dangerous up forward for South as well.
Half-time in our SANFL match of the day, and it's South Adelaide leading by 24 points.
ABC2 is the place to catch all your netball action every Friday night. Experience all the drama and excitement of our premier netball competition live. It's the 10th anniversary of this highly regarded comp, and any number of teams are set to challenge for the title. Will the Melbourne Phoenix rule the court again this year, or will there be new champions crowned for this season? Catch Netball 2006 live. Starts Friday, May 5th on ABC2.
Look forward to that, and I'll be in Perth for one of those matches, Perth against Hunter, to open the season. Look forward to the National Netball League this season, and we look forward to the second half here with South Adelaide. They've played some good footy. Double Blues, you get the feeling, just off their game.
You'd think so. South would have been happy with that second quarter. They increased their lead by a couple of points, and they worked pretty well. Ken has been in good form. He's had plenty of the footy. He's had 17 touches and looking pretty dangerous.
You should say that, and at times, Ben Warren, Damien Cupido, Stephen Kenner, you know, they've had a number of options up forward and a number of ways to exploit Sturt. Double Blues at the other end, well, they've struggled for direction aside from going to Chambers.
Well, they have. When they've got the ball in quickly, we saw that quarter, they got it in quick a few times, and Chambers looked good, and Macleay looked good to have some opportunities there. They've got to get it in quick and give their forwards the best opportunity they can. There we go. It opened up the gap, the angle here, and it was smart footy, finished off with a good goal. But Sturt, they just needed to eat into that lead a bit of South.
Too inconsistent, the Double Blues through the middle to have an impact?
Well, they've had plenty of footy, but they haven't been damaging. I think Michael said it was sort of getting a lot in the back half. It needs to be coming through the centre, hitting the forward.
Owen Davey finishing off there, having gained a yard on Michael Curtis. And if we look there, Davey with 2, and then just singles for the rest, as they've got 9 goals overall. And Brant Chambers, I think I've called him Brant a couple of times. He prefers Brant, apparently, or certainly his parents do. Brant Chambers with 2 and James Macleay with 2 up forward for Sturt. And through the stats and inside 50s, still favouring South, even though they kicked into the breeze that quarter.
That's right, and they did have plenty of the footy. It was a pretty even quarter, but Sturt needed to make the most of what is pretty much a minimal breeze now, but they needed to eat into that a bit more. But the rest of it's pretty even. Centre breaks pretty even, and it's not a bad game of footy, but it'll be interesting if Sturt can get back into this game.
For sure. Sodas, you've been picking what you can up from the dressing rooms, and any changes that we're going to see in the second half.
Well, good news for both sides. They have a clean sheet regarding injuries, and like we said during that second term, not a lot of action off the bench. Only 7 moves so far, and South just the 2. So maybe see a little bit more, especially in this day and age with midfield rotations. We would expect a lot more changes. Now, it has got pretty dark over half-time. The breeze has continued to die down, and we saw South Adelaide kick 4 against it in that second term. So shouldn't be a big factor, the conditions whatsoever, unless we do get a little bit of rain later on, which we hope doesn't happen. Now, I'm joined by the vice-captain of the Panthers, Matty Smith, who unfortunately at the moment is out with an arm. How are things going with it, mate?
Yeah, going pretty well at the moment. Had surgery a couple of weeks ago to plate and screws put in there, so I'm looking at playing in 2 weeks against Norwood.
Now, you broke the ulnar just before half-time against North Adelaide. You're in pretty good touch, 18 possessions up to that stage. Good pre-season?
Yeah, look, 6 months of hard work and then only lasted an hour into that first game, which is disappointing, but at least I was, getting the ball, so take a little bit of confidence into, 2 weeks' time when I play.
Now, you're a Box Hill boy. You've been here for 3 years. You're settling well in Adelaide?
Yeah, I'm loving it in Adelaide. I've signed for another couple of years, so I'm here for, a long haul, I reckon.
Now, South Adelaide always do a lot of recruiting from across the border, but it's good to see some younger players, Dylan Williams, one in particular, who are really making their mark at the club from the local area. Yeah,
look, Dylan's an 18-year-old from local area, and he's really stepped up this year and playing some good footy. He's very composed for his age, and we've got, 3 or 4 other blokes in the reserves that can step up and just play the same level, I reckon. Well, Matty, we're just about to start the third term. Hope to see you back very soon. Thanks for joining us today. Thanks, mate. Cheers. And here's Michael Maney with the third term.
Thank you, Mark Soderstrom. They'll love him back into the side. Will complement their midfield. South Adelaide lead this contest by 24 points. Sturt with plenty of work to do. Sheedy just thrown off the kick. Well done by Kruger to arch it. Out in some space. Love, deceptively quick. Whiteman, most courageous for the Double Blues last year. His courage never in question. Thompson got it back to him as he continued to run. Whiteman kicks up forward. Cole Reevy from the side. Couldn't take it. Uses Squire, one of the best finishers in the business. And he had Chambers on, and he kicked it out of bounds on the full. He could have gone to the square. Chambers was on his own, and Squire missed. But I don't think you'd worry too much about that. You'd think Damien Squire within about 45 or 25. You'd always back him in, Nick.
Absolutely, he's a beautiful finisher of the football. Very disappointed that he would be, but yeah, when you're running inside 25, I think you've got to have a go.
Hately with a couple of bounces to the outer side wing. Davey can't get there. Clun, oh, lovely little performance by Adam Clun to win that free kick. Relieves the pressure for the Double Blues. They need a bit more out of Clun. Just goes in and out of the game too easily. Spots up Bratton. Just near the wing, called the play on. Kurtz did all right, get the ball to ground. Sheedy, little World Cup soccer stuff. Well done, Archer. Was that deliberate? Sheedy didn't plead to the umpire. Boundary throw in.
Michael, just at half-time, the Sturt boys do look a little bit cold. The reason is they were locked out of the change rooms for about 2 minutes. No one had a key, so they were trying to battle down the door until they could find someone to open up and let them in.
Trying to make it a tougher venue down here. That's one way to do it.
Oh, there we go. Yes, tough venue that tend to be locked out of your sheds. Not good. Sometimes the showers go cold. That's been a big problem in football over the years. And here's Ilgerson with a free kick at half-back for the Panthers.
Into the middle. Thullis and Hanby share it. Now wide to McGlone. McGlone just puts on a bit of pace, and then the hand pass wide. Williams can finish a goal, and he does. Good transition by South. They moved it from the wing into the centre corridor and finished off with Williams.
And Sturt had the opportunity with Squire at the other end of the ground. So it was fantastic eyes here. They ran around, tried to get around the player, but then saw out wide. Who kicked that in the end? Williams kicked that, and it was a great finish in the end there. So, but could have gone and just bombed it to the head of the square, but got it wide vision and opened up for Williams.
Dale Ellis starting on the bench for South Adelaide. Dennis Ilgerson's gone into the forward line. Toby Thurstons is picking him up. Toby had a pretty torrid time against Nick Gill last week, so let's see how he goes against Dennis Ilgerson.
Mark Soderstrom on the boundary for ABC Television Football. Nick Chigwitten in the expert's chair. He's got a future, that young Williams. Archer kicks to half forward. South on a bit of a roll. Well done by Bevery, just tucks it under the arm. Spots up and finds, thought about Squire, couldn't get there. Well done, Bratton. McClay, long way from goal. Inboard, Thompson. Short kick is effective in the end. And Sheedy, who continues to run and run. Cole Reevy gave him a lead, but then Chambers found some space, and the kick is lace out to the number 7.
Another very good finisher with the football there is Sheedy, and just puts it to lace out for Chambers. Get chipping around and just use the space. Let Sheedy run into it. It was smart football. Sheedy finished off and put it on Chambers' chest.
Chambers has kicked a couple of goals. This shouldn't be too much problem. Sometimes a tricky breeze down here at Noarlunga, so they normally have to kick through the ball pretty hard, and he does just that, and it works away and hits the post. It's got a bit of a tail on it, and he's disappointed.
Which he would be. So I think it's a couple of times he's hit the post today now, and full forward, you need him to kick that, especially when you're in this position.
Sturt get it back immediately. Eckerman comes around on his left foot, kicks it up in front of goals, and Bennett takes a strong mark for South Adelaide. Good defensive work from Bennett, pushes away and gives it to Thulis. Drops it in short, Davey. Davey uses his pace, gets away. Off the left foot, he goes wide. Good stretch. Well done by Love. Turns around. McGlone's led for him, or rather Ellis, or try again. It's Ilgerson who drops it into full forward, and Warren takes the easiest of chest marks, and I just wonder how the Sturt player was got rid of by Cupido, who in the end didn't fly, just left it for Benny Warren, and that was far too easy.
The big man just put himself in the right position and should finish off with a goal.
Oh. And he does. But only just, and none of us were willing to call it too early.
Didn't look real convincing, did it, from not very far out. But again, that quick movement in there. Got the ball on quickly. Thurston's gave him too much space there. Turned though quick, got it on the right footing quickly. Yeah, there's Warren. Beveridge backing back into it, but Cupido certainly just got rid of him. Then Warren finished it off with a goal.
He'd be glad to get a goal on the board, Benny Warren. His kicking hasn't been the best, but there you can see 2 goals for. And you went another shade of pale there as Warren kicked that ball, Chiggy.
No one said anything for a while.
It was a near thing. South with their second goal of this term, and Ben Warren's second. Here's a chance for the Double Blues. They need to hit back and hit back hard. Eckerman to Wicks. Wicks got a call from Squire. A couple of kicks from goal. Squire will load up into the pocket. Bit of body work to be done by Chambers. Carlisle did okay. Chambers taken to the line by Parry. Good body work by Craig Parry. Good contest that. And the ball just trickling out of bounds. Chambers not quite quick enough to get ball in hand and get it on the boot. Good attack by the ruckman for the Panthers, the former Port Adelaide Magpie. We beat that ridiculous charge during the week. Ball down. McClay, Williams, who kicked the first goal of the quarter. Thulis, Hanby in a bit of trouble, uses Kenner. Pace, over the top, more pace. Davey, Thulis just waited. Running back is Ilgerson. Going wide is Warren. Well read by Code. Extremely well read, and he just takes it to the line.
Sturt have got Kurtz on Bennett. Well, Bennett's been on Kurtz. It's been for the last couple of quarters, but he's playing up the field, which has allowed Bennett to use he reads the ball beautifully. He's got a lot of height advantage over Bennett. I would be pushing him right back, sitting next to Chambers and letting him get the ball in quick and long. If you can't hit Chambers, you've got Kurtz as the next option.
Sturt working hard at the foot of the pack. Thompson shared it with Sheedy, shared it with Clun. He's got a bit of space to work with. Goes down the line for Thurston's, out of bounds just near the interchange gate, which hasn't been overly used this afternoon by either side.
Neil, Toby Thurston's now being pushed forward by Brenton Phillips, just looking to get him into the game that way and perhaps get a goal.
Got a mismatch there too. David Clark, the shorter man on Thurston's, just at the moment. Well, sure Rob Pyman will have a look at that. And Kurtz is still sitting out on the edge of the 50 with Bennett, who is, I think, trying to rearrange that mismatch back there.
It have happened now.
Ball down. Or should I say up? It's punched forward now. Virtually a fresh air shot by Weatherall. Clark's, well, he was sold into trouble, and then the Double Blues turn it over. Thurston's with the mark, 25 from goal. And that was some loose play by South Adelaide, and for a change, Sturt was able to capitalise.
Got the benefit straight away, too, of Thurston's drifting there forward. Sulis not right on him. Be interested to see if he's confident enough to kick this one.
Played in the 2002 Premiership with Sturt and in Port Adelaide's AFL Premiership in 2004, and drops it home for a goal.
Well, he certainly needed to get that one nil, and he probably hadn't had a big impact on the game at all today, Toby. But, you can see there's that turnover that just kills you again. Squire, quality finisher of the football. Thurston's a fair way out in his own and finished off with a goal. If he moves forward there, he's got to start moving around and providing targets and not just standing stationary. Lift the work rate a bit, Toby, I think.
Toby Thurston today, 7 marks, 11 possessions.
And with Toby Thurston's going forward there, Benny Eckerman has been pushed deep into defence to pick up Dennis Ilgerson.
Back in the centre, here come the Double Blues again. They love successive goals. They won't get them. Nagel, acting captain today. McGlone, Thulis, got Hanby wide. Now, this could be awkward. Hanby's got to do some good work here. He does. Kenner, kick around the body was good. Now, Williams, close to the line. Well done by Whiteman. Just a bit of experience on that occasion. And he'll win a free kick, Andrew Whiteman, against Williams for in the back. Just terrific experience by Andrew Whiteman. Macleay has got to go, and Hakely did and thumped it away. Good defence. Hakely's been all right. Since he's stamped his name into this side, Tom Hakely, I think the middle of last year or early last year, he's been very, very good for them. Works extremely hard. Boundary throw in. Parry worked to the front. Bowen from behind. Ooh. Another ball up. There's Damien Squire, number 24 for the Double Blues, niggling on Michael Hanby. Umpire Rouston. Wicks can't get through. Thompson, Bowen, Archard. How did he get rid of it? Umpire cut him a bit of slack. Ball went out, I thought, but not all of the ball. Damien Squire looks up at the umpire. He gets pinged. Well, got a wry smile from Damien Squire. That ball just doing nothing, and not all of it went over. Good call by the boundary umpire.
And did you see who pulled it back in? It was McGlone who ultimately got the free kick. So it was almost out of bounds, and that's why Squire would have been laughing. Now, meanwhile, Timmy Weatherall's gone off. Have a look at this again. It's McGlone's arm that reaches out and pulls it under Squire, and ultimately it's Squire who gets penalised, and that's the problem with that rule. Umpires have to be careful. So meanwhile, Tim Weatherall has given away a 25-metre free kick, which naturally he didn't agree with, and Parry, lining up, can go out wide right, and he does. And so Kruger with the free kick, or rather, mixed them up again. It wasn't Kruger, it was Nagel. Doesn't matter, because his short pass, he would be quite happy if it had been called somebody else. It wasn't good enough. Double Blues break from behind. Colreevy gives it over to Eckerman. Eckerman on to Bratton, and they just scramble a kick, and it ends with Hakely. Hakely can go long and direct, and the Double Blues have plenty of numbers around Warren. They knock it out of play. Then Warren looks to the umpire and says, why wasn't that a free kick? Well, I don't know about a free kick, but it was plenty ugly. There's Jared Wright waiting to come onto the ground.
Neely's coming on for his first run for the day. The handball king, Michael Hanby, having a break.
You wonder about Wright. I mean, what's his future there, Sodas? Because he hasn't been overly used both last week and this week in our matches that we've seen.
Well, that's right. We did mention last week that he missed all of last season with a hamstring. He had an operation in August. So he's just easing his way back into football. So I expect him to pick up as the year goes on.
Squire intercepting, breaking from the back. Now he goes, well, what had happened there was Kurtz had made a lead, Squire had held the ball, and then when Kurtz doubled back, that's when Squire kicked it. So now Wright with his first possession, up for Warren, who will eventually get it off the Kenner. Back inside he goes to Ilgerson, and then Sturt able to take it away.
Code. This could hurt them on the rebound. Squire needs to find a target. He'll go to Thurston's, who's a long, long way from goal, and Thurston's marks on the wing. Kicked a goal this quarter, Toby Thurston's. They need him to lift. Nothing on offer, decides to go back. finds Whiteman. They want to switch play. Wicks might cut through the centre. See if he can find someone. Colreevy was flat-footed. McLeay's got to come from behind and Bennett from the front. Ball knocked away. Ends up with Haitley. Handball too fierce for him. Sheedy over the top. Thurstons needs a shepherd somehow. No one can get there. Thurston spots up Weatherall. Weatherall, where's Chambers? He kicks it out in front of him. Archer's the man who got in the hole. Well played. He reads it well, does Archer. Knocks it away to Love. Good work by Carlisle. Kruger to McGlone. Panthers out of trouble. Cutting through the middle, McGlone. He'll look for a short kick and finds Wright. Wright. He may kick a goal. Jared Wright splits the middle. Good play, South Adelaide. They worked it from half-back all the way through, and I don't think a Sturt player touched it from half-back.
No, South ran the ball beautifully there again. Again, very Chambers focused, Sturt. So the South players knew to zone off in front, cut it off, and then it just free-flowing football all the way back. Seeing now that Kurtz has come off, and I think that's a pretty good move. They needed someone to give them a bit more options up forward. Hasn't given enough there at the moment, but it'll be young Tom Hurley coming on up there. So a smaller bloke with a bit of pace, it might provide some other options.
Sturt need the options at the moment. 35 points they trail by. We're about midway through the third quarter. And it seems the Panthers have the answer at the moment. Parry got it down to Love out of the middle. And Cupido just too big and too strong and maybe too confident. He's walking back with his back to the play. He got rid of Beveridge so easily that time. Just a bit of body work. And here's a very long kick as we just take another look at how he did this.
He's very strong, got strong legs, just uses the body well.
Kicks from just on 50 and just hooks it slightly.
Wouldn't be happy with that, and neither would Robert Pollin. That's why they've got him there, to kick those goals. And with someone with his skills, you would have thought that was pretty regulation.
Eckerman looks for and doesn't find Bowen. Parry, who's had an outstanding game in the ruck. This is where we thought they could really get on top. Short kick to Davey. Davey uses the handball to Clark. Clark tries to find Kenner. In comes Bratton. Caught one high on the way through. Kenner's not happy about it. It might have been there. The handball away to Curtis. Curtis has got a loose man at half-back. It's Jajura. Jajura sees a lot of acreage in front of him. Ducked around well. Kicks and spots up Weatherall with an outstanding kick. Now Weatherall's got to find someone. Hurley gave him something. He's got to come in and take him up. Hurley, he could kick a goal. The young man kicks to the square, but Carlisle gets back and Chambers drives him into the turf. He's done a good job, Carlisle, on Chambers. It's been a good contest. Carlisle's kick finds Cupido, so Sturt breaking down with that kick into their forward line. They can't quite pick up a target. Cupido will be told to play on in a moment. He is now from half-back. Bennett's the target, and he'll take the mark uncontested. The running is being done by Davey in the middle. The kick intended for him, but Bowen just floats across and takes a lovely mark to use Wicks. Wicks' kick chopped off by Clark. Clark just hacks it off the ground, and it's a foot race to the wing.
And the race was won by Bratton, who overran it then. Now to Curtis. Colreevy on centre wing. Drops it in short. Here's Hurley again. In space again, the young man. Drops it in short. On the lead came Chambers. That was much better from the Double Blues, who struggled through half forward in this quarter.
They have, but they've certainly been at the footy, I think, Sturt. They've come out since half-time and they have had a lot of the footy and look pretty good. They just need to finish off in front of goals and across half forward.
Chambers already with 2 this afternoon, but hit the post at his last attempt. Well within his range here. From 45 he kicks, lays back, and that one, and hit the post again.
Since Kurtz has gone off, Bennett's gone across to McLeay. McLeay's been pretty good most of the day, so it'll be interesting to see how Bennett goes on him.
2 goals, 3 to Brant Chambers as David Clark, former Geelong and Carlton player, kicks it long. A couple of Panthers left it for one another. Well done by Nagel to Ilgerson. Ilgerson will look for Cupido. Now, what will he do here? The body work was excellent. Now he's got to try and burn off Beveridge. Does the donut. Decides to kick and find a target in Warren. Well, you wouldn't mind them if you're a spearhead for the Panthers, would you?
That's just a beautiful kick, but Beveridge must hate it when it's coming in, the ball's coming in quickly like that and they're bodying each other, because Cupido's done it 3 or 4 occasions, just giving him a nudge at the right time and open up some space for himself. And just a beautiful pass.
2 goals for to Ben Warren. This could take it out to 41 points. And what's he done? I think he's kicked it. He's got goal number 3. It is out to 41 points. And the Panthers will be extremely tough to nail from here, Nick.
Yeah, I think so. It's going to be tough. Cupido there just gives himself a bit of room too. Beveridge has worked hard and has done a reasonable job, I would say, on him all day. But he's just got exceptional skills, and as you said, Warren would certainly love that.
Benny Warren would be happy. I think he played a bit of cricket in the summers with Langhorne Creek and dragged Damien Cupido down there to play a few games. So they form a good partnership up forward for South Adelaide. They lead by 41 points, the Panthers. Code will be, or rather, Bowen will be penalised for up too quickly. Archer did well. Got it away to Wright, who dropped it in short. Falling back, nice mark, Thulis. Thulis waits on Warren, who comes now. And he just decides that's not the best option. So he decides instead to load it up and just put it in high. Warren will come from the back, and there was another leap, and Warren just took the mark. Now, hold on, that'll be a free kick because Rodney Love made the big leap, didn't touch the ball, and Ben Warren, it fell in his lap. Let's have another look. He got rid of his opponent there in Bowen. So 2-on-1 now. Jajura does well to take possession and then kicks to maybe Damien Squire, who's wandering down the fence line there, just coming into picture, having gone off the ground.
I think he did spot Squire up, just coming off for a break at 32 years of age. Those legs probably getting a little bit tired. Former Blue, Sean O'Keefe, coming onto the ground.
Hurley with the hand pass to the stationary Thurstons. Hurley running and backing up. Clun was coming to Shepard. In the end, he got in his way. McClay came, met the ball. Now he's tracked it. Oh, he's looking for an option. He's got to go way back to Thurstons. Thurstons looks and just sets it up in front of Chambers. It's 2-on-1, South Adelaide with the numbers. Chambers towards goal, centres up. Clun from behind will fly. Can't take possession. Numbers again with the Panthers, although Haitley looked like he threw it. Now it's in dispute, and we will get a ball up 25 metres from Sturt's goal.
Yeah, Sturt really need to pull one back here because it could start getting pretty ugly if they don't, and South are looking pretty strong. So young Hurley's done good since he's come on, though. He's got a bit of a footy.
Provided a bit of run for them, that's for sure. Parry down and ends up with Kenner. Free kick for holding on. Advantage rule goes to the Panthers. Couple of bounces for Stephen Kenner. In comes Wicks. Can't provide the smother. Hilgerson thought he was being held off the football by Eckerman. Umpire didn't see it that way as Bowen took the mark. Into the centre. All double blues there. Jajura, that kick's a bit better, but Hurley was on a standing start and couldn't take it. Well done by Archer, who uses Clark. Clark to Davey. Davey takes the mark. Wright was flanking him. Decides to use Thulis. Archer over to Carlisle, who's run off Chambers. Carlisle kicks forward. Cupido! Out in front of Beveridge. Well within his range, Damien Cupido. He's only just been stabbing at them and getting the distance from 50, so you'd imagine if he gives it a fair hoof, he'll hit it up into the trees up behind the goals. The decent kick of the football, this man, from the Brisbane Lions, and then Essendon this year with South Adelaide. Enormous talent. Just kicked a couple of behinds so far. Cupido. Long kick. He brings it round. That is what we come to see football for. Good long kicking and accurate. Damien Cupido gets his first of the afternoon.
He did it well. This is where South set up so much of their play. You can see they're across that half-back line, just throw the ball across. Got the runners there. They use the runners, and a beautiful delivery of the football. And again, not a lot Beveridge could do there. Cupido got his yard or two in front, and delivery's that good. You couldn't get there to spoil it. Played by South, though, coming from half-back.
Luke Jajura not having a great day. He's come off the ground. Adam Thompson into the centre for Sturt. Little hard nut.
Again, Parry with the benefit of the bounce. So the umpire says it was too much of a benefit. We'll go again. Thank you very much. That must be hard if you're one of those players belting in off the square and then the umpire says, we'll recall it. You have to belt out again and start again. South Adelaide taking it away, sharing their hand passes. McGlone, the last one in the chain, down to half forward. Good pass. Ilgerson turns inside. Long he goes, direct to the square, and Warren couldn't take it. Code got one high. Umpire said play on advantage, I think, yes. Davey almost closes down Sheedy. O'Keefe now wide, he goes for Bowen, who just went after the ball and gave a shoddy hand pass. O'Keefe picked it up. Curtis through the middle, drops it for Thompson. Thompson now can look up forward. Weatherall gives him a lead. That's not the option. He goes longer for Chambers, who outpointed Carlisle in a big way. Across the centre, he's got one loose on the lead. Macleay, good grab. Oh, there was a late hand coming in there, and Macleay was still able to pull down the grab. He was a long way free when he first started to lead, but it was Chambers kicking across the body. Bennett was the player there, trying to knock it away.
Certainly been impressed with Macleay. He's done some good things today, floated in, taken some very good marks, and timely won this one.
Make sure there's only one South guy on the mark. Stay back,
Now,
thanks.
James Macleay will probably kick this from just about 40 metres. Plenty of distance away to the right. Minor score. Double Blues have let themselves down a bit. Macleay and Bennett just getting to know each other a little better.
James Macleay's father, a thyroid surgeon that did the job on me during the off-season and did a very good job too. Bill Macleay, taken by Carlisle. Just uses Kenner. Kenner's kick to a long lead from Warren on the half volley. That is by Warren and uses it to McGlone. McGlone's got Cubido and Ilgerson up forward, and Ilgerson takes the falling mark. Well, they're so versatile up there. You can take away Ellis, you bring in Ilgerson, who gives you a target. They've got a few options up forward, and they're dangerous.
They have got the options, and at the other end of the ground, Sturt have only got Chambers really at this stage. So Macleay's been good, but Chambers is the real target for goals.
Short kick and spots up Jared Wright, who's already kicked a goal in this term. 5-1 to 1-3 in this term. South Adelaide well on top in this match. A long way back for the Double Blues. Jared Wright with those hamstring problems, and a change down there quickly, Sodas. Looks like Macleay.
Yeah, just a quick change. Macleay coming off, Tajura to half forward.
The kick by Wright just fades away, just hooked it across and are behind. But it's a 47-point lead to the Panthers as we get very close to three-quarter time.
Yes, they keep peppering the goals, South, and they're looking very good at the moment. And Sturt working hard, but not just getting enough attack coming through the forward line, not getting enough goals.
Boy, they need some goals in a hurry. Beveridge was good. Now Thompson. Heckerman. Off his right foot, which is his wrong foot, and didn't it show? From behind, confidence from Clark. Couldn't take it away from Colreevy. Now Carlisle, and there's a lot of trouble for Chambers. Williams took it away. They're lining up through the middle. Again, it's Wright. Wright can go short. That was dangerous. Clark took it on the run, and off he went. Warren, he was the target. Ball came to the front. Cupido pushed away one. Got around eventually onto his left foot. Gave it up to Warren. Now back to Cupido. Oh, shut the gate on the left foot, you'd think. Cupido away to the left. A little inaccurate, and he'd be disappointed with that.
Disappointed. Again, the quick movement coming from half-back. They just love lining up there, and then they all go running and use each other.
Oh. And there goes Davey running and caught Code. Just caught him napping. Well, he'll catch anyone, Davey. He'll catch anyone unawares. Don't feel bad about it, Code. Short kick comes in, and Warren, right on the siren, will shoot for his fourth goal, and a 54-point lead at three-quarter time to South Adelaide. Ben Warren does the socks thing. He's kicking, as we've mentioned, hasn't been too good, although he's got 3 goals for. Goal umpire doesn't have to do too much work. That is a good kick from Ben Warren. He's got 4, and South Adelaide at quarter time have a commanding lead. 15-12, 102 to Sturt, labouring on 7-6, 48.
Yeah, that was a great quarter by South Adelaide. Then they dominated, they kept peppering the goals. Warren is looking so dangerous up there, and we had a bit of a go at Cupido earlier in the game for not working so hard, but certainly lifted his game there and was very dangerous.
Yes, well, that's 6 goals to 1 in that term, and South Adelaide just able to run on. And Dylan Williams, the man finishing off with that first goal. Ilgerson up for the 2-prong attack, and that time it was Warren. The Cupido was prominent in that quarter as well. They certainly had the options that are so sadly lacking for Sturt. Certainly their organisation going forward is lacking for Sturt.
Yeah, they got a fair bit of the footy through the midfield and that, and Squire, I thought Weatherall came into it a little bit. Toby Thurston's went forward, but I think he's got to work harder. Chambers has worked really hard up there. McLeay's worked hard. Toby's a big bloke who can play and get kick goals. He's got to have a bit of impact when he goes forward.
You wonder about Thurston's and his enthusiasm for football at the moment. He's out of the Port Adelaide AFL lineup, and you just detect maybe his spirit maybe not quite there.
Yeah, it does appear that way, but South got a lot of that run coming through half-back. They set 2 or 3 goals up that quarter by a mistake or a turnover across half-back, and then just moving 3 or 4 hand passes quickly into the forward line where Cupido and Warren, beautiful play there by Cupido. They're just very dangerous in front of goals.
Yes, Warren with 4 goals this afternoon and leading the way across 3 quarters of football thus far. Benny Warren with 4, Davey with 2, the multiples there. And then Chambers and McLeay with 2 each for Sturt.
Yeah, and it's if you look there, the inside 50s again, 46 to 31. South just getting so many more opportunities there. Handball's very much the same, kicks pretty much the same, so you can see Sturt are getting a lot of the footy, but it's the inside 50s and the quality they're getting. Their centre break's the same. So apart from the inside 50s, it's pretty even.
Well, joining us now, one of the most passionate followers of South Australian football, and that's Phil Hurton. And Phil is, well, what do you want to be called, Phil? There's so many roles that you're performing at the moment. A commentator on radio, you've got involvement with a website, you've also made a footy guide this season, so there's plenty to be enthusiastic about as far as you're concerned with SA Footy.
Yeah, good afternoon, Neil. Absolutely. Been following SANFL since my young days in the late 70s, and fell in love with local footy coming back from Queensland. I think it's great that South Australia has embraced the AFL and is great support of its 2 AFL teams, but yet still holds dear to its heart local footy at a state league level. There's no doubt in my mind SANFL, the best state league in all of Australia in any sport.
No question about that. I would say just from the following and the television coverage, of course, you can guarantee that it has a good following. For yourself, you were with the old Woodville cheer squad.
Yeah, that's right, and even though Woodville were pretty woeful when I was in the cheer squad back in the mid-80s, plenty of wooden spoons to go around, still plenty of magnificent memories, none more so than the charge of 86 when just about everyone turned into a Woodville supporter. It was great to be involved with.
Now, speaking of that history, you've produced this season a labour of love, I guess, and through your work with the National Australia Bank, they've actually allowed you to produce this, and it is the South Australian Football Media Guide.
That's right. I'm involved with a young business leaders program through the Royal Society for the Blind. Involves doing some community projects, and I thought, why not combine some fundraising for the RSB with my love of local footy? Certainly, we've been lacking in the SANFL a bit of a guide to the SANFL, some of the records and some of the issues. So 32 people put their hand up to be involved, all voluntary, ABC TVs in Mogridge included, and together we put together a 240-page guide, plenty of stories, stats for the SANFL diehard fan, plenty of hours of reading ahead.
And with that, I mean, as I said, it's a labour of love, but obviously sales must be pretty good, I would have thought, for it to have gone ahead, or the prospect of sales would have been pretty good.
Well, that was always the big question. There hasn't been a book on the SANFL like this for many years, and the question was, what's the support like? And I've been absolutely overjoyed, and it's made plenty of money for the RSB, which is fantastic. And some of the feedback from the SANFL diehard fans, they've really enjoyed a chance to relive some old memories and have a bit of info about what's going around currently, and just have a Bible for local footy.
Well, great to have you on, Phil, and it's great that you've got that Bible, because I can tell you, Chiggy, it does come in handy, and I've pulled some stats already this season off it, and all the profits, as you said, to the Royal Society for the Blind. I know you've got a couple of awards for your great participation in South Australian footy. Thanks for your time.
Thank you, Neil. Thanks for the opportunity.
Well, we're going down to have a look at this game and this huddle with Sturt, and gee, they've got some work to do. Brenton Phillips, this season, they've really struggled for confidence.
I think Sticks is starting to look a little bit greyer there, and you can probably see why. He's got a few headaches, and he's had a few injuries and that type of thing, but just hasn't had a lot up forward. That's where they've really broken down, I feel.
Soda's enough to make you consider coming out of retirement and stand up forward for the Double Blues.
You've got to be kidding. I'd last about 2 seconds, Neil, and I'd be keeled over in trouble. Now, Brendan Phillips didn't come out for a long time. He spent a little bit of time just on the wing with his assistant coaches, Brodie Atkinson, Bruce Lennon, just playing with the magnetic board. What he's come up with is Brand Chambers, the only forward who's actually doing anything for Sturt at the moment, will go one out in the square, and Adam Clun will be around the area. Also, Thompson and Cole Reevy as crummers. That's about his best hope at the moment, is that Chambers will turn it on, but Sturt in a fair bit of trouble, and they need a little bit of magic to get them home from now.
Well, you think so. And next week, our game of the week will be on Saturday afternoon from Unley with Sturt against West Adelaide. There's 2 clubs by next week, you'd think, will be very, very anxious for a win.
Yeah, well, Westies have got a big one tonight, obviously, and if Central's beat them out there, they'll both still be without a win, and at least after next week, one of them will have one, and they'll be fighting pretty hard to get that, I'd imagine.
Look forward to that match from the Unley Oval. Here's Michael Maney with the final quarter here at Noarlunga.
54-point lead to South Adelaide as we go to the last quarter. Important that Sturt remain competitive in this term. South have had all the answers so far. Sheedy taken to ground for the Double Blues. In goes Nagel, relishing his opportunity to skipper this side this afternoon. And as always, first goal of the quarter tends to set the tone. And if South Adelaide get it, it may open the floodgates. No one can take the ruck contest. Still in there trying. Was Wright who got it to Kenner. Kenner looks for Williams. Ominous here. McGlone just squeezes a kick looking for Cupido. It's been taken by Beveridge. Rebound from half back, and Cupido's in a bit of trouble just back off the play. Hurley's got it at the moment. He'll kick it long and hope for a mark. That matchup between Carlisle and Chambers. Here's the crummer Mark Soderson was talking about in Thompson. Also Cole Reevy, his kick is high to the pocket, and Thulis couldn't take it. Now Hurley's got some work to do. Dishes off, well to Chambers. Clun thought about a check side, got spun in the tackle, across the body. What's the kick look like? It's not good. It's been marked by Bennett, so South will be out of trouble through Haitley.
Well, it looked like the trainer was trying to get Cupido off there, mate. It looks like he's got a bit of a sore knee, but he's wanting to stay on at this stage.
Just back off the play, Damien Cupido, as Nick Chigwidden, our expert, former Glenelg star. I'll say that properly, Glenelg star. As Archard's got the ball for South Adelaide. It's between the wing and half-back, Reece Archard from Echuca. A good pick-up for them. Gets plenty of the football. In front, Hanby. Can't take it. Squire. Thurstons. Went without it. Things not working well for the big man, Curtis. Sheedy back to Thurstons, who just lopes away in that laconic way and finds Bowen.
Bowen in the centre of the ground, and again, Panthers line up across, I should say, half-back. It's catching, Michael.
It is.
And that's their problem in going forward, the Double Blues, is Weatherall now kicks over that line, looking for Chambers, punched away by Carlisle, who's had a pretty good battle with Chambers this afternoon, out of bounds in the forward pocket.
Biggest ball getters on the ground at this stage. For South, Archard and Kenner have each had 26 possessions, McGlone and Clark 22. For Sturt, Sheedy's had 26 and Thompson 22, including 17 handballs.
Thurstons came from behind. Now Weatherall taken to ground. Thurstons flicked out the hand pass to Cole Reevy. Now Thompson should finish, and he does with a goal.
Well, saying they needed that is a bit of an understatement, but as we've seen there, Sturt are getting a lot of the football, but they just seem, every time they get it, they seem to be under pressure. So that's credit to South, absolutely, but they just seem to be chipping and taking it sideways and handballing rather than getting it in directly. But that was an excellent finish there, and Sturt very much needed that goal.
Thompson just been relieved of his duties in the AFL with Port Adelaide Power. Kicks the first goal of the last term. Now the couple will raise the spirits and give us a pretty good final term. Kenner out to deny that. Kicks it long. Hoping for a mark. Cupido just too strong. Once he gets his body in front, and he gets into a body-on-body situation, I don't think there's many that can go with him in this competition.
No, he's been excellent like that all day, and when it comes in quick like that, as we said before, Beveridge would hate this situation because he knows he's just not strong enough to go with him. He was right with him, but Cupido, strong hands, took a good mark.
He's got one goal this afternoon, Damien Cupido. And the goal umpire does a bit of work to his left, but I think he snuck it home for a goal. So the answering goal comes from Damien Cupido, his second, and that margin is out by 54 points again. The crowd here at Noarlunga would be salivating at this performance because they were pretty good last week, Chiggy, up until probably just after half-time.
South, if you look at the list they've got and the firepower they got up forward, the good midfielders they've got, they're going to be a pretty good team. And they've played some good teams in North and Port, so this probably shows where they're really at.
I don't know if Cupido was fully satisfied that his knee that he seemed to have knocked a few minutes ago was 100%. Perhaps that's why the kick looked awkward, or more awkward than the wonderful motion that he normally has. But nevertheless, he kicked the goal, and he certainly took the mark. There's no doubt about that. Free kick out of the middle, Parry going wide for Ilgerson. Great lead, great kick, great mark. And Ilgerson then drops it in for Cupido. Just waits for the bounce, still able to trap it. Beats one with just a ball feint, then turns around, squares it up. Haitley, Warren, there's plenty of them there. Ball to the front. Oh, coming through as Archett. And just missed with the snap.
Yeah, Archett's he's had a good day too. He's very similar to a Kenner, gets plenty of the footy, quick and dangerous when he gets it.
Kruger just got a hand on it, and Hurley, who I've been impressed with, is taken to the line. Hasn't had that much game time. Tom Hurley, the number 53, there he is with the interesting crop of hair. He looks a player for the Double Blues.
That's a case of, oh, those young people. Hey?
Here he is again into the action. Quick hands to Sheedy. You don't see that often. A kick off the side of the boot from Jade Sheedy. Nagel just using Williams to Kenner. Now Kenner's got Cupido in his sights and he can't take it. Loose ball, Ilgerson, Jajura, good tackle. I think that ball was locked in. The umpire as Luke Jajura. Was the umpire a mean look there? Interesting hairdo.
Michael, Tommy Hurley there, that would take a lot of product to get the hair in that state, so don't sell him too short.
It's Soda's experience.
He's been working overtime, Mark. He's read your book. Here's Cupido. In fact, it's I'm confused now. It was taken by the great man down there. I've forgotten his name, Damien Squire. It ends up with Kenner. Kenner's kick, Warren just got rid of his opponent. He'll run in, shoot for goal, and kick number 5. Well, he just got his man, just gave Code a nudge, and it was all that was needed.
He did that very well. Got a couple of very powerful bodies up there in Cupido and Warren, haven't they? But if it gets into a body-on-body situation, not too many teams are going to be able to go with them. And he finished off with a goal. So they're a pretty awesome forward line they've got there, and they're both having a good day today.
Double Blues is Benny Warren with 5-4 for the afternoon. Impressive effort from the full forward. Double Blues, 2 losses so far this season, or 3 losses, I should say. Centrals by 56, Norwood by 19, North Adelaide by 92, and now they trail by 61. It's not shaping as a very good season for Sturt. They are really struggling. Right, he was clever. Archett coming off the back flank was Clark. Forward they go, and he is right to finish it from 50, gets it to the goal square. Warren opposed to Code, who took a nice mark, gave it off to Jajura. Jajura long, very good kick. Well picked up by Bratton. Bratton on centre wing. And again, South Adelaide with numbers across half-back. They just read it so well. Squire took it away from Bennett. Squire lines up for goal, starts it left, and it stays left. And Squire got them out of trouble there because they didn't have a very good target across half-forward again.
Yes, he had Thurston's on there. Did Bratton, but decided to square it up to Squire. Off half-back, South Adelaide. Through Nagel. Kruger. Just can't get the handle on it. Work by Thurston's. And there's a change down there, Sodas. The young Kurt's coming back on.
Yes, the big rower, he's come back on for a bit of a run. Jake Bowen, who's rucked for the majority of the game, has come off for a bit of a spell. He was good in the twos last week, and of course, with Fabian DeLuca on AFL duties, these two boys carrying the ruck.
How's Brett King down there? He's got splinters on his backside. He hasn't been on today, has he?
He has spent plenty of time there. Fortunately, here the seats are steel, so no splinters, Mike.
Sometimes you get other problems with that. In goes Thompson to Whiteman. Goes forward, Colreevy gets the lead from Chambers, who wrestles with Carlisle, who can't take the mark. Going hard after the football. And a ball up, another change down there. Looks like a bit of a worry for Thulis, Mark.
Yeah, just the left hamstring or thigh there is, looks like a hamstring, I reckon. He'll be getting checked by the physio there. Coming onto the ground, the man they call the doctor, Rodney Love.
Here's Hanby, just drops it in short. McGlone, done a lot of running this afternoon.
Mark, that wouldn't be Tina Charles, would it? Calling. Dr. Love. It's back in the 70s.
He wasn't born then. Here's
Tina who? Tina Turner.
Here's Nagel. Drops it into Archer on centre wing in front of that interchange bench where the comedian disguised as Mark Soderstrom is sitting. Nagel again. Back to McGlone, drops it out wide, Haitley, 55 from goal. McGlone, slow to get up, was met hard by Squire. Ball dropped in, and Wright takes the mark, a two-grabber. And he can drop it out wide, and he does so. And they've just got numbers all over the place.
I'll tell you what, Neil, I think Jared Wright, heard you ask about him when he came onto the ground earlier, just questioning perhaps what is in store for his future. He's been pretty good since he's come on.
He has. He's certainly shown that he's got plenty to offer, as you say, being eased back, I guess, after some bad troubles with injury last season. Here is Williams lining up, 45-degree angle, will run out to the right and try and hook it around, and he hooked it too far. Didn't hook it out on the full, though.
Jared Wright, 4 marks in 11 possessions, and I reckon he's been on about a quarter.
It's not a bad effort. South pretty much doing as they like at the moment, turning into a bit of a training run nearly here, and they might feel like it's training. It's getting pretty dark as well, so...
Might get your opinion, Chiggy, on a couple of players. James McClay, who did a pre-season with Essendon, and also young Williams. I think they've got a future. We'll just come back to that in a second. Here's Wright, over the top. Davey might get another one. He may go over the top to Warren. He scoots around and kicks another one. Well, he had Warren over the top, but he was clever enough and quick enough to get around. And when they get a sniff of the goals, these Davey boys, they love to have a shot.
Oh, yeah, he certainly getting bread and butter for them. You're not going to catch them, that's for sure. That's just a very ordinary kick in, though. And backs him, always going to back their pace there. So never going to miss that one. Williams, I think, is going to be a very good player. He's a young player that certainly showed plenty, I think, today. McClay, I think, yeah, I think the jury's still out a bit. He's shown a bit today, but he certainly hasn't dominated. But pretty hard in the Sturt side today too, I suppose.
Yep.
Well, Sturt had won 3 in a row here at Noarlunga. They're not going to win this afternoon. They're getting thumped, 67 points the margin. Here comes South again. McGlone looks up, Cupido's on the lead. That's who he goes for. Cupido, though, leaves it for Warren. Well, that was confidence from Ben Warren. Just reached up and one grab, bang. So Warren from 48 goes to the square. And Cupido in the goal square. Too big, too strong, simply too good.
They actually work very well together, Cupido and Warren. Very rarely do you see them get in each other's way, and from time to time they've made room for each other.
He is a star, isn't he? Goes back, kicks the goal. And he came with quite a reputation and a nickname, Damien Cupido. He's called Hollywood. His Brisbane teammates gave him that when he was playing in the AFL. He apparently doesn't know why. Played with Brisbane and Essendon through 53 games, a lot of experience and a lot of talent.
He's got a lot of talent, and you can certainly see a bit of Hollywood there, I think, for sure. But, yeah, as I was saying, they seem to work similar players, and they work very well together. And South use them both exceptionally well at this stage. So you'd go forward with a lot of confidence if you're a South player, because you know these guys are strong body and are going to finish off for it.
Cupido 9 marks and 18 possessions. Warren 11 marks and 17 possessions.
Found the football finally. He's kicked that down just about to Cape Jervis.
What happened with the bucket of balls? I thought you were supposed to have those behind the goals at all games now.
I don't know, Neil. I can't give you
that was the new rule that you can bring the ball in straight away from a behind. I thought you were supposed to have the bucket there.
Well, they've spent a fair bit of money, South Africa. Maybe they haven't bought any balls. We will leave that one alone. Taken by Haitley, who uses Davey. Davey kicked that lovely goal just a few moments ago. Backed up by Cupido with another. Just chips in, just racking up the stats. Haitley from half-back. Archard's made some space on the wing. And it's all gone pear-shaped for the Double Blues this afternoon. Hanby, Davey, here's Clark, who was prominent early. He kicks and finds Kenner. Even the little fella's getting in on the act here. Stephen Kenner, back off play. Bratton just drags himself up off camera, but Stephen Kenner will have a shot from 40 metres out directly in front, and it could be a 79-point ball game if Kenner kicks truly. He's kicked one and provided the links along with Archard, Davey. They're small men with Matthew Smith to come back in. It's an amazing small man department they've got as Kenner kicks a very, very accurate shot at goal. He's happy with it. He had a good day, Stephen Kenner. He's a player to be relied on through that midfield, Chiggy. You'd love these little blokes doing well, wouldn't you?
He is a very good player and is damaging too. He's saying Sturt were getting a lot of the footy. Their midfielders haven't been anywhere near as damaging as like McKenna and the likes, running through there and delivering the footy very well and finishing off with goals. The other one that I think has set up a lot today and been fantastic is Bennett across centre half back. He's done a great job.
Jared Bennett, 12 marks and 22 possessions.
Well, that margin's edging up. 79 points. And out they come, flowing from the middle again. Hanby. Ball touched off the boot, but still McGlone has it for South. Archard hit hard by Beveridge, who took it away. Now Bratton drops it over the head of Weatherall. In for Hurley. Hurley goes wide for the laconic one. Thurston's down to half forward, looking for Chambers. Stretches, takes a nice diving mark. Brant Chambers, 40 metres from goal. Chambers belts it long. And Whiteman, was it marked? It was marked in the field of play. And we'll wait for the umpire to set the angle. And so Whiteman with King making sure that he's got the hands up and 5 metres away. Now it's called play on, smothered. And that was desperation from South Adelaide. And in fact, I think Clark might have hurt his fingers doing that. And you can see there, he dived across the foot.
That was the difference, isn't it? Someone going back to look at the check side with no confidence whatsoever and wasn't sure whether he was going to pass off or kick the goal and then had a smother like that.
Bit of a difference between Chambers and the Whiteman approach, but, well, Andrew Whiteman not noted for that. We can't say too much about it. In goes Code. A couple of good-looking throws there. Kenner taken to ground and kicks out of bounds on the full, but Andrew Whiteman just playing through the midfield, and Brant Chambers have kicked a lot of goals. It's an experience thing, I guess.
It is.
And free kick to be taken by Jajura. It's really a blowout at the moment. 78 points, the difference in favour of South Adelaide. Looking to make Noarlunga the fortress that they hoped it would be when they relocated down here. Jajura kicks to a good, strong lead by that man who just kicked the last behind for the Double Blues in Whiteman, who's taken to ground by Archard. Code tries to do the clean-up job, but it's pinched by Hanby. Hanby's kick, needing to go, and he did, was Love. And Jajura with a bit of body contact, all legal, but Love stood his ground and kept his eye on the footy.
No, you got to take your hat off to Love there. He knew Jajura was coming and was going to get crunched, and he deserved to get that. There's no doubt about that. He kept his eye on the footy. It was a great attack. It takes a bit of courage to do that.
South have taken an astonishing 31 marks inside 50 this afternoon.
That is amazing. Inside 50s, 57 to 36. They've been productive as Rodney Love, who's booted one, just gets a hook on it and just sneaks it in for a behind. It's 79 points the difference in favour of South Adelaide.
Yeah, here he goes at the footy. Just as you can see there, his just eyes are firmly planted on the football, and he would have known the body was coming. Jajura was coming. Got to take your hat off to him.
Sturt bring the ball into Colreevy. Now Clun, hand pass slightly behind him. Plenty of time though, and he breaks away. Gets a good shepherd from Colreevy. Time to deliver. On the lead came Chambers. Ball knocked away. Macleay fumble. Now Clun again, out the back to Colreevy, his partner in crime on centre wing. Colreevy around on the right foot. Not the greatest of kicks. Didn't advantage Squire. He was opposed to the ruckman in King. Now King goes back, and they go forward against South Adelaide. They have the answers. They've had the answers pretty much all day. And here's McGlone. Boy, he's covered some territory. We'll get a stat off Moggy in a moment. I can tell you that he's taken 3 bounces down the outer wing. He'll take a 4th. There's nobody coming at him. He could take a 5th, but he's too tired for that, so he just kicks it up looking for Warren, who appealed to the umpire that he was being held, and certainly some South fans thought he was. Jajura comes the other way for Sturt.
Get that stat from Moggy. I think 17 kicks and 12, was it?
Yeah, 18 and 12 now.
18 and 12. Sensational. Here's Weatherall. It's getting gloomy, very gloomy at Noarlunga.
It's gloomy if you're a Sturt fan.
It is extremely gloomy. Weatherall just spots up Squire, a bit of experience there. And the kick to Chambers is, as you would expect from Damien Squire, absolutely spot on. And Chambers will go back and look at a kick from 35 on a pretty difficult angle. But you'd expect your spearhead to get close from here, Chiggy.
You'd like to think so, especially if anything, the breeze would be favouring him, pushing down that towards that end. He has worked really hard today, and Damien Squire. They're 2 people that, for Sturt, that can hold their heads high, I think.
Ball nestled in those ample hands of Brant Chambers. There's Brett King towering over the goal umpire for anything unexpected. But Chambers, good-looking kick off the boot, struck it well, and he's not happy about it. Just pushed it away to the right.
Chiggy, both Brant Chambers and Benny Warren picked in the state squad this week. Probably battling for the same spot at full forward, no doubt. Warren, the #1 man at the moment.
Yes, of course, Chambers played last year for the state in that great win over Victoria. Or the VFL, as they want to be known. Here's Whiteman. Off the Bowen, he's a left footer. Goes to Sheedy, who is standing there, just literally standing there. And here's Sheedy again. Got it from Weatherall. Sheedy lines up, goes long, and good positioning by Code over the back. Just judged it the best. A 1 grab mark.
That's it. Come on.
Yes, well, things certainly sort of just panning out now, aren't they? You'd think Sturt might get a couple of late goals, try to get a bit of credibility back, but Sheedy getting it in long and quick. As we've seen, when Sturt have done that, it has actually worked for them.
Code, goal umpire did a power of work, and in the end, hit the post.
Yeah, it can be a confidence thing too. Sturt's skills have dropped off. Their goal kicking hasn't been fantastic. It's a wonder what a lack of confidence can do to you.
It's amazing. There's Robert Pyman, who would be very, very satisfied. It'll be an easy day in the coach's box for Pyman today. His side have really taken the game by the scruff of the neck and worked it well. Ellis back on Weatherall too high. That was there. Not letting go was Bennett, and that's 25 for sure. Can't do that. That's the new rule.
That was certainly there. Timmy Weatherall was trying to play on there, and Bennett was, you know, might have been a professional free in the end. But Sticks will be certainly, I think he's had a hard day at the office today, you'd imagine.
I think the fingernails may be right down to the quick at the moment. Phillips.
Well, you've got to let him go back in front.
Wonder whether he'll be coaching Sturt next year. Oof. Jared Bennett, I think does his contract run out? Not sure whether he's been re-signed. Here's Weatherall, who splits the middle with a lovely kick. That is a good kick by Tim Weatherall, aided by a 25-metre penalty, and they get just their 2nd goal for the last term.
One of the old brigade there. There's Sticks, obviously not getting a lot of joy out of that. But I think Timmy Weatherald has improved as the game's gone on. Carried a few injuries and coming back into the team. He is certainly one player with Squire and Sheedy that they really rely on. It's that second tier that's really got to step up to help Sturt go to the next level.
We did have a fair record here at Noarlunga, 6 wins and 4 losses, the Double Blues, but they may just avoid the embarrassing stat of conceding the biggest winning margin to South Adelaide. South Adelaide won by 88 points in round 20 of 1995. That was their first year down here at Noarlunga. It still remains the biggest winning margin they've ever had at this ground. Here's Bowen. He looked to push Williams high, but it was called play on. Coming back, great mark taken by Nagel, the acting captain this afternoon, showed great bravery. Dropped it out wide to right. Got a couple running for him. One of them is Kruger. Kruger bounces his way towards 50. Drops it in for Warren. Warren, no, ball punched away by Thurstons. And now the ball's trapped in there. And their enthusiasm for the ball is evident in this play.
Had a little look there, but it didn't make him stop going for the footy. That was a fantastic mark. And we've seen a couple of great courage acts there by South players today.
Hurley, that ball was touched. You heard the umpire call that, so it's played on immediately. Sheedy down towards half forward. Boy, it's getting dark out there. It's harder and harder to see, I can tell you that. Sturt haven't seen much of the ball, really. Not across half forward. Here's Code. Picks it up, drops it in. On the lead was Chambers. Knew he wasn't going to get there. Just socket it and hope for the best. And now Clun can kick a goal. No. He can kick it to Thompson, who can kick a goal over the shoulder. Made it look hard, but kicked the goal nonetheless.
That's a good kick. It was a very good kick. I think you've nearly summed up their day there, Neil. They've made it look hard. Everything they've done today has looked pretty hard. It was a very good kick over the shoulder there in the end. Knew where the goals were and finished off well. But they have to work very hard for any goals or any movement forward at this stage.
Adam Thompson gets his second goal for the final term.
8 kicks, 18 handballs. For South, Kenner and Archard have both had 32 possessions. For Sturt, Sheedy's had 31.
Happy South Adelaide fans. Will do the world of good for memberships and all that sort of thing for down here. 135 plays 70. Back in the middle, King relishing getting a run on the ball. Hurley, but Archard pinched it. McGlone's kick smothered by Bratton. Falls to the goal kicker in Thompson. Chip over the top looking for Weatherald. Was he pushed? Yes. Advantage rule. Clun will run into an open goal and splits the middle. Some late goals to the Double Blues, their 4th of the final term. That would gladden the heart of Sturt supporters, but it's all going to be too late. South Adelaide have been well on top in this game.
Well on top. Timmy Weatherald again, just continuing to work hard. But Clum's the one who finished off with the goal in the end. And how often do you see this happen? South sort of going through the motions now. They've worked hard all day, set up a fantastic win. Now Sturt just getting a few cheap goals in the end.
Yeah, you get the feeling when Stephen Kenner kicked that goal at the 15-minute mark to make it 79 points. I think they just switched off then. So at that stage, they'd kicked 5 goals for the quarter. And that was pretty much all she wrote. I think Robbie Pyman, who would be thinking finals this season, you'd think that he would want some percentage out of it. Ball back in the middle. Hanby takes it away. Love shares it with Kenner. Kenner goes down long looking for Cupido, who just pushed off his opponent. Umpire said he was being held, and so it will be a free kick. And again, Beveridge exposed on that one-on-one contest.
Beveridge, I think, has done a reasonable job. You know, he's done everything he can, really, but when the ball's coming in those one-on-one situations, it's tough.
Well, he tried to do everything he could, like hold the jumper.
Well, you've got to try something.
The trouble was it was illegal. And Cupido drops through, up behind. And wait on the umpire. I'm sure it was a behind, yes.
They need 10 goals. The difference in favour of South Adelaide. 60 points. It's hard to see who's doing the kicking out down there. It's a long kick. Up go the big men. King in front. Hurley. He's got a future. Sheedy. Very high kick. Don't want any rain at this late stage. O'Keefe. He's just got the handball out. He's got it again. Uses Thompson. Thompson effective to Sheedy. Flanking him, Curtis. Curtis will look at a target. They go back. Chambers in front. No free kick. Carlisle there. Chambers snatched it again and kicked a goal. Well played, Brant Chambers. He has persisted all day. He boots his third goal. He's got 3 goals, 4, but he really has been their most productive forward up there. Macleay was good early, but Chambers has really given his all.
Well, Macleay sort of floats in and takes a good mark here and there. Chambers has worked hard, chased hard to try to hold the footy in the area and finished off with 3 goals in what's been a pretty tough day. So I think he's worked really hard and has had a reasonable day in a very ordinary side today.
And the first 3 of those 4 behinds hit the post.
So he's had a couple of posters, hasn't he?
3.
Sorry, half listening. I was just counting how far it was in front. 54, the margin. Hanby has taken a couple out of the centre, drops it into space. Archard running onto it. Coming the other way, Beveridge. Hurley. Sheedy back to Hurley. Whiteman's flanking him. Hurley just running and running. Goes for Chambers. Chambers around on the right foot again. He's not really chased by Carlisle, was content to let him go, and Chambers very wide. Did it hit the post? It did, and it hit the post on the bounce, according to the umpire, so it'll be thrown in there. Way down there in the forward pocket for Sturt.
I think both teams looking forward for that siren at the moment. It's been a tough day for Sturt, and South certainly would like to get in and start celebrating it, I think.
The siren doesn't go soon. They won't be able to see their way up the ground. Our cameras don't really show it, but I'm telling you, it is getting rather dark. And
we'll miners' hats, Neil, shortly.
And this will be a merciful end for the Double Blues. The South fans, who have trooped here this afternoon, and there's not all that many of them here, will be gladdened. They'll be warmed by this victory.
The only thing that'll warm them, I think, boundary throw in. Hasn't been too bad. The home of the Panthers. Nagel, who's led by example, he's taken over the captaincy today from Clay Sampson, acting captain. And that mark that he took just a moment ago, running with the flight of the ball, has been the inspiration for South Adelaide today. There's Brant Chambers. Carlisle's done pretty good. It's been a pretty good battle. I think Chambers has had enough of the footy to say there's probably an even contest. Out the back to Archard. Just ticked into 31.5 minutes in this final term. Kenner kicks it down the line. Ilgerson can't take the mark. 136 plays 82. And South Adelaide, there's Dennis Ilgerson, who he's been pretty good since he's been on. Nick, he's provided them with something up forward.
He certainly has, and it's good coming into a team that's being so dominant, I suppose, and that helps you get your confidence up and get plenty of the footy.
Boundary throw in, Hurley. Oh, just chopped off. Brilliant play by Williams, who uses right. Just got them queuing up. Love looking for and not finding Cupido, but Toby Thurston's in the way. Left foot. Spots up Jujura. He's got Bowen further down the line. The kick's beauty. A real good one to Bowen. Bowen called the play on. Chips it into Weatherall. He's kicked a goal in this final term. Tim Weatherall right on 50. Long way from goal. It's a pretty big ask for a little fellow with short legs from there.
How many little fellows have long legs?
Exactly.
You'd be surprised.
Exactly. Some of them crouch over. On the siren, Weatherall's kick comes around. I think he might have kicked it. On the siren. There goes that theory. And Weatherall finishes off a pretty tough day for the Double Blues with his second goal. And at full time, wonderful game of football. 2016, 136 South Adelaide. Sturt, 13-10, 88. Good win to the Panthers. Nick Chigwitten.
Yeah, they were fantastic all day today, South Adelaide. The run they created through the half-back line, the quick, long movements they kicked, and then into that damaging forward line is unbelievable. And their damaging forward line led by Damien Cupido, at least in partnership with Ben Warren, and Damien's with Sodas.
Well, thanks, Neil. Damien, it was a pretty dominant effort there.
Yeah, no, the boys really ran it out well, and you know, this was a must-win game for us, and where we want to go this year. And I thought we stuck to our task. Let them back in at times, you know, they were good, but yeah, it was good to get away with a win.
Now, of course, your first year in the SANFL, but it looks like you've already developed a good relationship with Benny Warren. They're both looking after each other with some goals.
Yeah, no, we work well. You know, we work hard at training to try and get some strategies going in the forward line, but no, it's good. Yeah, me and Doug will work there well, and hopefully we can kick a few more goals.
On a personal note, you look like you've settled in well with the SANFL. What are the aspirations beyond this year?
Oh, look, mate, you know, I've obviously want to get back into the AFL system, and I'll try and help these boys get to where we want to go this year, and you know, put South Adelaide back up there where they should be.
Well done today, mate. Efforts like today's match, could see you back soon.
Thank you. Cheers.
Damien Cupido in South Adelaide celebrating a victory this afternoon over the Double Blues. Pretty comfortable in the end by 48 points. So we just look through those quarter by quarters. 22 at quarter time, 24 at half time, 54 at three-quarter time. And the Double Blues winning the last quarter courtesy of that last kick by Tim Weatherald.
Yeah, and you see Warren and Cupido just dominant up forward today. It's a big effort there by South Adelaide.
No doubt about that. They'd be very happy. Next week, we're going to the Unley Oval. We're going to see Sturt against West Adelaide. Two clubs undoubtedly hoping for a victory. And there's those other matches. Eagles Port on Sunday will be a very interesting match to watch as well. And North and Central on Friday night at the Adelaide Oval. Plenty to look forward to in SANFL football. Thanks for your company this afternoon. Thanks to Chiggy and all the ABC crew. South Adelaide winning by 48 points. Bye for now.